no surprise in the playoffs with Bowen and Duncan, the defensive stalwarts. And of course, this high-scoring starting five. Jimmy Jackson starts again in place of Joe Johnson. And right now, let's send it to Michelle.
Well, Mike, Tim Duncan is playing today because, as Greg Popovich told me a few minutes ago, Tim Duncan said he was going to play today after spraining that left ankle in Game 6. Duncan's status for today was very much in question, even as late as this morning. But the Spurs medical staff said Duncan can't make the ankle worse by playing, and Duncan says he feels fine. But Popovich told me he's going to have Duncan on a short leash. If he sees him begin to hobble at all, he will pull him and protect him for later in the series. Remember, as you said, with both ankles struggling, Duncan doesn't have much of an anchor right now, so that's something to watch, Mike and Hubie. Certainly the most important injury note for the San Antonio Spurs, and of course for the Suns, Joe Johnson with that displaced fracture, the orbital bone above the eye. He is out as well for this afternoon. Of course, the San Antonio Spurs advance in 6 games, hard-fought series against Seattle. Meanwhile, the Suns, a hard-fought series against the Dallas Mavericks, and a quick turnaround in this Western Conference Finals, and a very experienced crew, 70 years of NBA experience. Joe Crawford, Jack Neese, and Jimmy Clark. And Ginobili quickly gets inside. Not a bad way to start.
Well, as you know, the Phoenix players all want to play over 40 minutes. And when you do that, they are not going to take unnecessary fouls. If you get down in that paint, they'll allow you to get to the front of the rim.
Jackson fires up and puts it in. Jimmy Jackson, of course, has stepped up since Joe Johnson went out with the injury. He's been starting the last several games, and he's played very well.
What he gives them also is off the dribble. He's like another point guard. He can make the pass in traffic, and he's excellent off the dribble.
Some of the early matchups you see, Stoudemire is on Muhammad. Duncan gets it inside, and an easy 2 for Duncan, who has Marion to start. That's a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, see, this is going to be the big test to me. Wherever Duncan is on the defensive end of the floor, anytime that he is matched up with Marion, Marion is the X factor for the Phoenix offense. Off the dribble, 3-point shooting, and then on the board.
Nash passes up a shot, gets it to Marion, and Marion can't get it to fall, kept it alive, but Nazr Muhammad the rebound.
Anytime that Marion shoots, Mike, you must put a body on him. He's one of the best we have at getting to the offensive board.
Duncan inside, quick shot won't go. And Suns, of course, will push, averaging 116 points a game in the playoffs. That by far the most in the league. And Parker, an inadvertent trip, picks up his first.
Well, inadvertent, Mike, he is great at changing pace off the dribble. The toughest guy in the league, along with Jason Kidd, in keeping their dribble. They will have nothing on the first or second option out of the offense. They keep the dribble from one side of the floor to the other, and it's a nightmare for the guy guarding them and also covering the 3-point shooting.
Short, a couple of international guards going at each other. Parker, of course, from France, Nash from Canada. Parker told us yesterday, you can't relax for a second when you're guarding Steve Nash.
Big thing today, Parker and Ginobili must come in with big points to help Duncan.
Parker misfires, Jackson the rebound. Nice feed inside, Stoudemire. As Duncan got a hand on it, manages to save it, but then throws it away.
You have to be heads up now with the Spurs. The Spurs play the passing lanes as well as anyone.
Parker likes this pace, even though San Antonio doesn't want to get into a running match. Parker can play a good pace. Stoudemire misses the dunk.
When you're young, Mike, and you have talent, and they call you young Colt, of course you can run at this pace.
Muhammad flips it in nicely. Are you surprised how quickly the Spurs are pushing?
Yeah, I am, but we have to remember now, the Spurs are one of the best fast-breaking teams out of half-court defense that we have. What they will not do is force bad shots. That's the luxury of the Spurs. The key now, remember, San Antonio will take you off the dribble strong to the rim. You cannot play matador defense, or you're going to give up a lot of points in the paint.
Nash picks it out to Jackson. Stoudemire inside. This is but a foul. Nazr Muhammad with the personal. And Stoudemire will shoot 2.
Well, we know that Stoudemire is going to wear out Nazr Muhammad as well as Nesterovic or Ori. If you move Duncan in behind Muhammad, then Ori will have to pick up Marion. To me, the biggest match in this series for San Antonio is what are you going to do with Shawn Marion? He is the X factor to me at both ends of the floor.
Stoudemire and Nash, of course, get so much of the acclaim. Marion made All-NBA 13 defense. Is it possible that a guy who's an all-star and all-NBA third team is underrated?
Oh, absolutely. I feel that he is one of the most underrated players we have in the league. Mike, the guy averaged over 11 rebounds a game over 82 games. That's third best in the league. And we know that he really is a small forward playing power forward.
Meanwhile, Stoudemire, who gets to the line more than anyone in the playoffs, over 13 attempts a game, knocks down his first 2 today. Parker falls down, stepped out of bounds. Marion, his help defense.
I like what I see on that. Phoenix is saying, you know, we are not going to allow Tony Parker into the middle of the floor. They are going to send him to the baseline. And a lot of times when players have not been sent to the baseline in a while, you know, it is an area of the floor. Can you make the mid-range jumper? Can you get into the paint and then kick out and look for your three-point shooters?
Parker's so important to their success often as he goes, as Richardson misses the 3. Richardson trying to find some consistency in his shot in the last couple of games. Duncan double team down low. That means Nazr Mohammed will have some opportunities. Duncan the offensive rebound, knocked away. Mohammed picks it up. Mohammed head fake inside and draws the foul.
That's working. The Spurs are an outstanding offensive rebounding team. For a team that shoots such a high percentage as they do, they get to the glass. Now with Mohammed, this was a great pickup for San Antonio. He has the long arms, he likes physical punishment, and then you also have to deal with Duncan. When they come with Nesterovic, you have 3 guys at 7 foot who want to get in and take the punishment to get the second shot attempt.
Mohammed was acquired in February from the New York Knicks for one of the most popular players in Spurs history, Malik Rose, but he's fit in beautifully. In fact, Rasho Nesterovic, who was hurt, was the starter, but Mohammed played so well when Nesterovic went out with the injury. Nesterovic is healthy again. Greg Popovich says, no, I'm going to leave Mohammed in, and he has performed very well in the postseason.
Well, that's just a testimony to the fact that Mohammed has answered the bell. Now, Nesterovic started the first 70 games here.
Popovich using the Lou Gehrig, Wally Pipp analogy, which is a bit of an exaggeration, but
you might be dating yourself a little bit here.
Richardson blocked by Mohammed.
Now, we tried to bring out to you early. Now remember, they are an excellent San Antonio, an outstanding shot blocking team.
Of course, with Mohammed and Duncan. Duncan, nice catch in traffic. Sharp pass from Ginobili. And a foul. Stoudemire to pick up his second foul. So that's going to be something Mike D'Antoni has to look at. And he's going to have to come out of the game. Mike D'Antoni does not go to his bench very often. That's one of the question marks for these Phoenix Suns. They had the great regular season, won the 62 games, Yubi, but the question was, do they have the depth to get through all these tough playoff series?
Well, it isn't like they do not have players over there that can play. They have players 9, 10, 11, and 12, all experienced guys on their bench. But what Mike has put in here is a style of play. He only likes to rotate 8 players. Now, in this series, you can see when you say Duncan moving without the ball, also Mohammed moving without the ball, well, they're going to put a lot of pressure on Stoudemire.
It's a very beautiful purple bench in the park. As you can see, they don't get a lot of minutes, and the bench is depleted now because Jimmy Jackson, who usually comes off the bench, is a starter with Joe Johnson's injury.
Like we say, don't worry about the guy who's moving up into the starting lineup. Worry about the guy who's getting the minutes for that bench position.
And the first bench player, Hunter, comes in with Stoudemire. Those 2 quick fouls. Jackson, Ginobili runs at him, so Jackson gets in the paint nicely and finish and Duncan the rebound.
One of the best teams, San Antonio, chasing you off a 3-point catch. You catch the ball like Jimmy Jackson did, they get out and rotate and they close you down, force you to dribble a basketball.
Duncan moves further than he normally shoots, and he's short. Suns, meanwhile, UV, after hitting their first shot from the field, have missed their next 8. Bill Nash will put it up. It's 9 straight misses as the Spurs have a 6-point lead.
You never worry if you're a fan of the Spurs, because we all know that their defense will be there. They'll challenge, but the big key is, can you keep challenging the Suns over a 48-minute period?
Suns were down 16 in the third quarter in Game 6 against the Mavericks on the road and came back and won that thriller in overtime. Steve Nash was the man who made it happen. Nash and Marion playing just beautifully. Richardson steps back. Can't connect, and Duncan the rebound.
Think about it. No second shot attempts for Phoenix. They're missing, but they're getting no second shot attempts. That is big.
Second turnover for San Antonio. Richardson running the floor. And there's the fast break opportunity.
Well, that's what we said at the top. San Antonio's transition defense will be tested for the full 48 minutes. We know that Nash will be totally unselfish on the break. That's why you'll always see the white shirts running hard to fill a lane.
Duncan posting up Marion.
Great.
And again, Muhammad's going to have a lot of opportunities.
Well, anytime that you double Duncan, he's so unselfish, he will never force up a bad shot. He will always take the double team and look for the cutter going to the front of the rim. Nazim Muhammad, just get to the front of the rim, son, and you will have a field day here.
Muhammad put up some very good numbers in the Seattle series. Nash drops it in. Nash shooting an incredible percentage for a guard with his first field goal. And a timeout call by the San Antonio Spurs. As we approach the midway point of the first, the Spurs defense has been the story early.
The NBA playoffs on ABC, brought to you by Hummer. Check out the H2. Hummer, like nothing else. McDonald's. Playoffs go better with a McDonald's double quarter pounder with cheese sandwich. Pound one. Bud Light. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all here. And The Honeymooners, only in theaters Friday, June 10th, rated PG-13.
Nearly halfway through the first quarter, and the Spurs leading game one by 4. One of their strengths coming into the series, Hubie Brown, was dominating inside. They're taking advantage early.
Well, you like their transition game. They're going strong. They're not picking up their dribble. Now, he has Ginobili. We know he's a major key. If they're going to front Duncan, you know the lob will be there. Parker has got to keep completing here now. Everything is going well for them early. Anytime you double, they're going to look for the cutter to the front of the rim. Now, in spite of all of this, Phoenix is shooting 23%, and they're only 4 down. And you know they're on fire throughout the playoffs, shooting 49% from the field. You know they're going to run a hot streak here. Can the Spurs keep this up defensively and continue to get into transition?
Well, Spurs bring out 2 bench players, Robert Horry and Brent Barry. Pretty good guys that come off the bench in the playoffs. Ball knocked loose as Marion with a rebound.
Now that's the second long field goal by Duncan, and both shots, his weight was going backward, and he left them right on the front of the rim short. He's got to get up and shoot through. Now remember, we told you now, the right ankle that he sprained 3 times, missed 16 games. We know that it's tough, getting balance there. Now with the left ankle, it's going to be interesting to see as he plays through this. Will he have the jumping ability? Can he spring out?
Jackson for 3. Oh, they say a 2. His foot just on the line. Jimmy Jackson with his second field goal, and it's a 2-point game. You mentioned Duncan missed those 16 games. The Spurs would have had a chance perhaps to vie for the best record
absolutely
in the NBA, but without Duncan it was hard to. And Nate, may be the difference in this series is Parker comes up short that time. Powell holding the rebound as he bumped into Marion.
I sure did. Are you going to tell me accidental? Well placed. Well placed, Mike.
We mentioned the home court as Nash misfires and a loose ball foul. And it's going to go against San Antonio because the Spurs, they're a good road team, 21-20, but they weren't a great road team this year.
Well, you love the best road team, Phoenix Suns. When you say 31-10 at home, 31-10 on the road, that is just a knockout stat in your favor. What I like going so far now, San Antonio, their first group, yeah, they held you to 1 shot. But now when you go to the bench with Horry, you're smaller right now. Can you continue to keep Phoenix off the offensive board?
Nash with the hook shot. We saw that earlier in the playoffs. Doesn't go that time. That last foul, by the way, was on Duncan. And that's his first. Nash 1 for 5 to start. He's just shocked when everything doesn't go in the way he's been shooting.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Nash putting up an incredible numbers.
San Antonio will take their time in their half-court sets.
Barry off the mark. Duncan trying to get it, but Nash just out hustles. Lots it inside to Hunter. And if they can get some minutes from Hunter with Stoudemire on the bench, what a plus that is.
Yeah, this is a test right now. Duncan is matched up with that young thoroughbred Hunter at 7 foot, and he is running hard. Can Duncan change him, and especially as we move through this first half?
Bowen spots up for three. Neither team shooting well.
Yeah, when you miss those long threes, this is where you're igniting the fast break for the Suns.
Nash, his second field goal, and the Suns have their first lead of the game.
Yeah, see, Popovich, you've got to be concerned. Nash is getting inside of 17 and 18 feet at will. All of his shots are easy, wide open shots.
Bowen, that's his favorite spot. Not that time.
Got to knock him down.
Yeah, Richardson, the rebound. Spurs 0 for 5 from three-point range. And it's now the Spurs who are shooting 29% from the field. Nice feed inside. Hunter. Marion, the offensive board. Nash inside.
You got to run right back at him here. You have a 3-on-2.
Barry inside.
Oh, he passed off. There was a layup.
Foul as Ori goes to the basket. Steve Nash very upset. He thought that Duncan pushed him down the other end. That would have been his second foul.
Now, just keep an eye at the Phoenix end. There's your lob, and this is Hunter out racing Duncan to the opposite end of the floor. Now, on this last fast break, you know, let's face it, Brent Barry has got to be a little unselfish. All right, he's got to take it to the hole. Now, right here, this is Nash. He's been playing by himself inside that foul line area.
Phoenix on an 8-0 run to take a 2-point lead. A reminder tonight, Grey's Anatomy is a shocking revelation in the last 5 minutes. You don't want to miss the heart-stopping season finale of Grey's Anatomy tonight at 10, 9 Central, only on ABC. You know, UB, all season long, people said, yes, the Suns are great in the regular season, but you can't win that way, that style in the playoffs. But look at those numbers.
Well, right here, how about the +6? And then also the shooting percentage. The field goal at three-point shooting at 44% is staggering. They have 5 guys who are averaging over 40%. Fast break points are up because it's natural. Why? Because Nash is having such an incredible playoff after round 1 and round 2. And you can see already in this game, even though the Suns are shooting 30%, he is pushing and pushing, and the game is being played foul line down. I like it if I'm coaching Phoenix. Right now, I'm a little concerned with San Antonio. The ball's not going in the basket.
Ginobili can't get that to go in the basket, but Nazr Mohammed keeps it alive. Nazr Mohammed, a big offensive rebound. Beno Udrich has come in for San Antonio, and Leandro Barbosa comes in to give Steve Nash his first rest. Suns starters have been putting up some big minutes. Marion comes up short. Here comes Ginobili.
And that was only Marion's second shot attempt. They do not run any plays for Marion. He gets everything in transition and then off when the plays break down.
Udrich, the rookie, to Ori. The playoff veteran, that's for sure. Ori gets inside and gets the roll.
Now that was pretty. He extended on that jump hook. Marion was right up on top. Marion at his side is an excellent jumper, quick jumper with the long arm.
Jackson, nice little floater. Jackson, a big plus. Starting the game again. He's got 6.
Well, listen, let's face it, that was one of the greatest acquisitions for this franchise, picking up Jimmy Jackson. And why? Because during his career, he averaged over 15 points a game. He's been in a lot of playoffs, so you have a veteran stepping in for the injured Joe Johnson.
Shot clock down to 7. Ginobili draws the foul and 1. Manu Ginobili, who's just second to Stoudemire in free throws in these postseasons, will take his first this afternoon.
Once again, a second shot attempt, and it's down inside. Now, any time that the Spurs are taking the dribble below the dotted line in the paint, they're getting to the rim and they're getting the easy score. Now, if I'm Phoenix, I know I'm getting hurt early on second shot attempts, so we have to clean this up.
You saw those numbers for Ginobili. You'd be not only scoring over 21 a game, but the high shooting percentage. He's an excellent rebounder, and he's made some beautiful passes as well, averaging over 4 assists a game.
Well, listen, he's 6'5". He plays with his heart, and he's a great teammate. You'll love him because he's relentless for the entire time that he's on the court.
Barry trying to guard Jackson. And Jackson can't get it. Horry. And a loose ball foul. And it's going to go against Phoenix.
Yeah, I like the strategy here. Phoenix is saying no way will Brent Barry stay with Jimmy Jackson out on the perimeter. Jimmy Jackson, a strong dribbler, taking it to the hole.
Let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
Well, guys, Sean Marion, that injured wrist, before the game, he was in the locker room with a heating pad. Look at the size of that thing on the right wrist. I mean, just really babying it. Now, he's not wearing a brace on the wrist in games. He took it off for the first time on Friday. He says he wants to leave it off so he doesn't even think about it, doesn't even think that he's injured. But he did confess, Mike and Hubie, whenever he takes a hit to that wrist, it truly hurts.
It was earlier in the postseason that Marion went down on the ground pretty hard to break his fall, injured the wrist. Those numbers again. It's scary, some of the numbers some of these Phoenix Suns put up offensively.
Now, when you look at his numbers and realize that he is an afterthought, you know, in set plays, very few go to his position. He gets it all by hustle, by physical effort on the offensive glass, and then taking the ball strong to the basket. You love it. 2010 without being a main focus in your offensive set.
Well, after that run by Phoenix, San Antonio comes right back to regain a 5-point lead as we come up on a minute remaining. Marion lost it.
Well, you have an advantage here now. There it is.
Barry wide open for 3. And Brent Barry knocks it down. A 12-2 run by the Spurs, and they're up 8.
See, the Spurs understand mismatches. Spurs understand when they have advantages. They will move the ball, and that ball will get to that wide open player.
We're loaded with very heady international point guards. That includes Dana Udrich, the impressive rookie from Slovenia. And there's Barbosa, the Brazilian, knocking it down.
Now, Barbosa, let's face it, he's a young talent. He's harnessed his game. Steve Nash has a great influence on this young player, and this guy's going to be terrific for the future.
Robert Horry from downtown. Robert Horry playing in his 13th year. He's played in the playoffs each season. And, of course, the 5 rings, 2 with Houston. And 3 with the LA Lakers, now with the champion San Antonio.
Now going back, broke in as a small forward at Houston, and then just moved over, can play both sides, small or power forward.
Oh, Nash, pretty shot over Muhammad. 2 seconds remaining. Ginobili. That'll count if it goes. Oh, Ginobili banks it at half court. The 3-pointer. Manu Ginobili in dramatic fashion, ending the first period.
Mike, as he moved past us, he checked that shot clock before he released. That was just beautiful to watch. Now keep an eye on him here. Now you see he looked up right there, set himself up, and realized he had one more dribble.
And just the perfect shot for Ginobili off the glass. And after that strong run by Phoenix, San Antonio comes back on an 18-6 run. The flair of Manu Ginobili, one of the up-and-coming stars in the NBA, the great player from Argentina, gives the Spurs a 10-point lead after 1 in Game 1. Second quarter is set to begin. Game 2 in Phoenix. Manu Ginobili of the San Antonio Spurs becoming one of the most exciting players in the NBA. It's his 3rd year in the league. What a year he's had. He made his first All-Star team. He won a gold medal, of course, for Argentina in the Olympics. He got married. He got a $52 million contract. And look at the numbers as his NBA improvement continues, Hubie.
I would say he's hitting a lot of grand slams when you lay it out like that. And like we tell you, he's what you love in basketball players when the game is played right. He plays with his heart. He's always high intense. He's going to challenge you off the dribble, and he'll take the contact in the paint to score.
Asked Nate McMillan during the Seattle series who he reminds him of. He said a little bit of Sarunas Marciulionis, the lefty corner.
Yes, indeed. From Lithuania. Played on the Soviet Union, great teams, and then played with Golden State and a number of other teams in the NBA.
Nash puts that in. Meanwhile, Greg Popovich says he reminds him of a bigger Allen Iverson.
I like that. I like that comparison.
A lot of contact down low. Crowd wanted a foul. And Ginobili drove to the hoop. A little bit of a bump. Barbosa picks up his first as we go to Michelle.
During the last timeout, Mike D'Antoni telling his team, look, we're not playing our game. Don't play into their hands. Every time we run, we get something great. Keep moving the ball and we'll be fine. And then Steve Nash showing leadership, he said to everyone, we can't give away possessions on effort. And you know what that means, Mike and Hubie.
And there's never been a problem for this team. As Nash gets inside, Stoudemire back in, picked up the 2 quick fouls. And Hunter keeps it alive. Hunter and Stoudemire playing together. Stoudemire with the bucket, his first field goal.
Well, the Spurs are coming to life on the offensive board, getting second shot attempts.
Stoudemire only played, as Duncan turns it over, he only played 4 minutes in that first quarter.
Mike D'Antonio and the coaching staff from Phoenix, they have to be a little bit concerned here. Your starting front line, Richardson, Marion, and Stoudemire are 1 for 9. You got to get them going, and it must be a definite effort to get them the ball.
Nash's pass deflected. I think it was Muhammad who got a piece of it. And a good transition defense that time by the Suns. Woodward misfires, Duncan the offensive board. Barry for 3. And Barry off the bench with 6 points and a couple of threes.
Look, Barry and Ori off the bench already have 13 points. They're coming in and they're looking for the shot. They're getting a lot of stuff that's wide open.
And foul called on Udrich over aggressive grabbing the shorts of Stephen Hunter. So that's the first team foul. First on the rookie point guard. 16 on the shot clock as the Suns to inbound. Nash lost it. You know, there was a time where the one position that you would not see in the NBA from an international player was point guard. We got a whole plethora of them here this afternoon.
Well, an awful lot of them are taller than 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2", but that's because of all of the clinics overseas, and then also FIBA expanding all of their teaching, their clinics. So it's really been an explosion. And then also the players, they're getting a better athlete now playing the game.
Woodrick with a nice steal off the pass from Nash.
They were late. Udrich was wide open in the left corner.
Barry.
Oh, great pass.
Muhammad shot blocked by Hunter, but Muhammad with the second effort.
You cannot fall asleep on the dribblers here, because every one of the penetrating dribblers for the Suns, they understand that the San Antonio guys will make that extra pass.
Barbosa for 3. And that's the first three-pointer for the Suns, a team that set the NBA record for most threes in a season. They're also number 1 in the NBA in three-point percentage. Duncan can't get the bounce, and Stoudemire the rebound.
Yeah, Duncan is struggling right now. He's 1 for 6. And the other factor is, as you can see, he posted up low. You cannot play behind him down in that low.
Barbosa blocked by Muhammad. Everybody wanted a foul. It's rooting for the Suns. Woodrick stripped by Nash. Stoudemire passes up the shot.
Yeah, Nash always looks for Stoudemire in the middle of the floor.
Barbosa not shy about putting it up. Not a good shot that time, and Duncan the rebound.
Yeah, I like the fact that they're playing Barbosa and Nash together, because they make a lot of things happen off the dribble.
Plus, Barbosa takes a little pressure off him in terms of running the show.
Yeah, he can relax a little bit, Mike. If you're going to relax, you got to relax at the offensive end.
Ginobili, they tried to get him go. Both teams a little sloppy right now.
Well, you got the advantage, 3-on-2.
Stoudemire inside. Well, that gets the crowd fired up and gets Greg Popovich off the bench for a timeout.
Now, this is typical Suns basketball. They play in spurts, and when they're in the spurts, you must use your timeouts and then also set a slower tempo when you are at the offensive end of the floor.
Steve Nash with his 5th assist. Most assists in 10 years in the NBA. A pretty one right there.
I have to say it felt great to win the award. You know, but it's not really my personality or the way I'm wired to really, you know, go to bed with the trophy and you know, think about that all day long. You know, I still wake up the next morning feeling like an underdog. That's just been what I've been my whole life. So I wake up as an underdog and I just go out trying to prove myself every day.
The MVP of the NBA, and Yubi, what's one of the most impressive things? He deflects praise as well as he distributes the basketball. One of the most modest stars that you see in all of pro sports.
Absolutely, Mike. And when you think about it, that he did not take up the game until he was 13 years of age. He was a soccer player, rugby, lacrosse, hockey, always a playmaker. And yes, the vision is there, but he's always been a playmaker no matter what the sport.
Grant Barry can't connect. Rebound, Tim Duncan. Horry checks his feet for three. See, Hunter is on Duncan. Stoudemire guarding Horry. Duncan, tough shot. And Stoudemire the rebound.
San Antonio, they're never in a hurry. They're always going to get the shot that they feel they want at that time. They're not going to rush.
You'd have to say that the pace right now is suited perfectly for the Spurs.
Absolutely.
Stoudemire.
Well, he's been quiet, but naturally he was quiet. He only played 4 minutes in that first quarter due to the foul trouble.
7 straight points now for Phoenix. Bowen right back down to Duncan. And Duncan able to put it in.
Duncan is getting great looks at the basket, Mike. All high percentage shots. Just had to take his time, and let's hope that the leg, you know, will get stronger as the game moves on.
Both teams now shooting 41% from the field. Stoudemire, shot won't go with a foul. Robert Horry hit him. And Stoudemire right back to the line where he spent a lot of time in his postseason. Horry picks up his first. And minutes down for Stoudemire because he picked up the 2 quick fouls. Our NBA calendar, Monday on TNT, 7:30 Eastern. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals from Miami. It's the Heat and the Pistons. And Tuesday, right back here on ESPN, Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals.
Now you must continue to go at Stoudemire. In the 3 games during the regular season, Stoudemire averaged 39 points against San Antonio. So you know right now, he already has 2, so you cannot let him stay out here and get major minutes in this quarter without challenging.
Barry kicks it out. Horry left open and goes over the backboard. It's going to be some ball. First with Stoudemire, the big question for him, Mike D'Antoni said, I want you to play the center position. He had to convince him, said, you have to trust me. But Stoudemire, in many ways, a power forward. Sean Marion playing the power forward. He can play a 3. Yeah, that's been a big part of their success.
Absolutely. And they do such a great job of it. But we all know that you get banged up, and you have to accept that. And what I like about his game, since he's come into the league, he has opened up now and become an excellent high-percentage shooter from 15 to 18 feet.
It's what he worked on all summer to become a better player. And he had a spectacular season, Duncan off the glass.
That's his favorite move. Anytime on that side of the floor, if you do not get up on top of him and force him to dribble, he will bank it in.
5-point lead for the Spurs. Barbosa threw it behind, but Jimmy Jackson right there. And Jackson launches the 3. Jackson, who started the season in Houston, was traded to New Orleans. Didn't want to play there, so he didn't report and was suspended. But eventually traded for some young players, and what a big boost he has given the Suns. Ball knocked loose. Good defense from Stephen Hunter.
Look at this guy.
Barbosa. Good move, but a wild shot.
You can see the athleticism now. In Brazil in his last year, he got averaged over 28 a game in their pro league. He's a youngster. Right now, we're seeing a little bit of a matchup zone type here.
Duncan.
Oh, nice move.
Trying to draw the foul. And bounces in. Horry never touched it. Duncan now with 9 points. Stoudemire stripped for the foul. Robert Horry come down hard. and picks up his second personal. We're not in the penalty yet, so the Suns will take it out of bounds.
Yeah, Stoudemire is such a cover. He's very difficult to fend off the dribble. He can attack most of the big men, 7 foot, 6'10", because of his athleticism, and then he is one of the most spectacular finishers we have in the league.
The NBA playoffs on ABC, brought to you by Miller. There's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call. Sprite and Thirst, reminding you to obey your thirst. And Chrysler, inspiration comes standard.
Back at America West Arena where the Suns trail by 4, and Phoenix can't wait to get Joe Johnson back in Game 2 of the Dallas series. He displaced his orbital bone under the left eye and on May 12th had surgery. First of all, how is that area of your face feeling?
It's great. I don't have any pain, so right now I'm just trying to stay in shape and stay in rhythm.
Now, they had originally fitted you for a mask that could have made you ready for today, but apparently the swelling went down that the mask no longer fits. If the mask had fit you today, how would that have affected your status for this game?
I don't know. We're not rushing it right now. I think the main concern right now is that I get healthy, and I think that's all we're worried about right now.
Yeah, they had to redo the mask. Supposedly it's going to be ready tomorrow. Does that mean you'll be ready for Game 2?
I don't know. I don't want to say yeah, but I don't want to say no. Right now, like I said, I'm just trying to get healthy.
How tough is it for you? Steve Nash told us that you were arguably the best player in the first round of the playoffs for them. So how tough has it been for you to sit and watch?
It's been tough. There's moments and spots where I felt like I can help the team. But, like I said, I think those guys can hold it, and I think we'll be all right.
Well, good luck. We're anxious to see you back, Joe. Take care.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, Michelle, they certainly missed him during the regular season, second in the NBA in three-point shooting. He led the team in minutes per game as Parker rattles that in. And he's a good defender, too.
Yes, he is. And they use him on point guards in many occasions whenever they want to give Nash a blow. So you're talking about a well-rounded athlete that can play a number of positions and then your third leading scorer.
Well, this wonderful starting five with Stoudemire, after that slow start with a foul trouble erupting here, now has 14 points, 12 of them here in the second period. Ori looking for Muhammad, instead throws up a jumper.
On that matchup, Ori has got to either post up or go all the way in the one-on-one set in order to challenge Stoudemire.
Ori went for the steal, but Stoudemire couldn't finish. Hunter right there, and he's fouled. And Stephen Hunter giving Mike D'Antoni some good minutes off the bench.
Now listen, their front line right now, you're talking about jumping jacks. When you say Marion at small forward and then Hunter and Stoudemire in there, you have some guys who can really hop. They're not only quick, they're long, and then also they can finish. And I like the development of Hunter. He's really found a home here. He's grown up an awful lot. Maturity, came out 19 years of age out of DePaul University and played in Orlando. But right here, he has an excellent opportunity to grow because he fits in perfectly in the rotation of Mike D'Antoni.
He was actually traded in the offseason Orlando to Cleveland, but he was waived by the Cavs. Signed as a free agent here in Phoenix and had career numbers for him, albeit modest numbers, but finally showing some nice improvement this year.
Absolutely. No, he's always had a lot of talent. It comes down to, knowing your job, feeling comfortable, finding the right niche.
Ginobili. And a foul, Steve Nash, who doesn't argue a lot. He'll be called for that personal. That'll be his first, and Ginobili will go to the line.
Anytime that you have a mismatch at playoff time, let's face it, it's so key. Well, no way can Nash continue to pick up Ginobili in any time of a matchup. When that happens, Ginobili's smart enough to challenge Nash off the dribble and get into a comfort area where he can shoot a high percentage.
Ginobili, it seemed like the foul came actually before the shot, not on the actual attempt, as he misses the first. One reminder, tune in to catch the best in women's basketball. Diana Taurasi and the Phoenix Mercury take on the defending Eastern Conference champs Connecticut Sun. That's next Saturday on ABC at 4 p.m. Eastern. Ginobili 1 of 2. 3-point Spurs lead, just under 4 to play here in the second.
Right now, with Jimmy Jackson and Richardson back in the game, all right, they're right to their starting lineup.
Sean Marion gets inside. Shot won't go. Stoudemire continues his second quarter dominance.
Like we said early, San Antonio held it to one shot attempt. Right now you got to pay attention as this game moves along. They get stronger, tougher, quicker. They're relentless, the Suns.
And the Suns getting their first standing ovation of the afternoon. Bruce Bowen off the dribble. Oh, nice shot from Bowen. We've seen him improve his dribbling. Ball knocked out of bounds. Still Phoenix ball.
You always have to emphasize where you got an advantage. You got an advantage off the dribble here. San Antonio must continue to take advantage of that time and time again because they will allow you to get to the glass.
Richardson. Well, Spurs played that first to pick and roll beautifully, then Horry wouldn't let him get off the three. Under 3 minutes remaining in the first half. This game one, of course, best of 7. Ginobili bumped.
Yeah, I like what we saw that time. Jimmy Jackson jumped right to the left hand and said, Ginobili, you're not going to your left. We're forcing you back.
Jackson his first foul, third team foul. Here in game one, Spurs still with a slight lead.
A lead as large as 11 for San Antonio is 3. A couple minutes from halftime. The Verizon Wireless halftime report from our studio Times Square in New York with Bill Walton, Snapper Jones, and our special guest, Hall of Famer, top 50 all-time player, Dr. J. What are you watching so far?
Well, I'm watching a pretty good basketball game, but it seems like it took a while for the big men to get untracked here. Tim Duncan because of missing point-blank shots, and Amari Stoudemire because of the foul trouble. But they came on strong in the second quarter. You can't hold the big men down forever if they're getting their looks and they're getting their minutes.
But the big men are getting their shots, but it's the pace of the game. And Phoenix is beginning to pick up the pace of the game, and that makes the whole difference in this game.
Amari Stoudemire needs a lot more shots, and Tony Parker and Sean Marion are no-shows to this point. That is a major concern for those respective teams.
More from these guys at the half, a Shaq health update, and Chris Rock, all unrelated. Back to Mike and Hubert.
Thanks, Mike. Amari Stoudemire in his third year. Always dreamed of playing in the NBA. Got in trouble with his mom when he was a kid because he wrote in crayon NBA on the wall of their home. But he's worked hard, and what a season he's had. What a second quarter he's had.
Well, just think about it. 13 minutes. He's come back in after getting in foul trouble. He has 16 points. He's the only Sun in double figures as we speak. But you like, if you're Phoenix, you like the fact you're only 3 down. You're not even playing at the top of your game. You're picking up the tempo. Everything is starting to flow in your favor.
He had a 50-point game earlier this season. He averaged highest scoring average for a Phoenix Sun in 15 years. Not since Tom Chambers 15 years ago. Second team All-NBA, 5th in the league in scoring, 2nd in field goal percentage. He's 22 years old.
The quickness factor and the fact that he can handle all of the physical contact playing at that center position.
Ginobili, just under 3 to play here in the second. Good defense from Jackson. Ginobili. And Stoudemire another rebound.
Yeah, Jimmy Jackson is doing a solid job on Ginobili. And that is really such a tough cover because Ginobili normally on most nights can get past any defender.
Stoudemire gets past plenty of defenders, not that time though. And can't hit the jumper. Duncan pulls down his 8th rebound.
Yeah, very few easy points for San Antonio since we got into the second quarter. The transition game is down. Why? Maybe because Phoenix shooting a better percentage, but they're not forcing any turnovers to get out in the open floor.
Parker puts it in. The Suns a better team defensively than they get credit for.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I know that because they score so many points, an awful lot of people want to say, but when we talk about differentials, we have 1 and 2 in the league. 7.8 for San Antonio, 7.1 for Phoenix. Now Parker is finally making himself, into this game. He's brought his personality and also the fact that he knows he can score off of dribble penetration, kickouts, take the ball and look to get to the basket or pull up on your mid-range jump shot.
That last foul on Ginobili, his first. Stoudemire back to the line. Barry will replace Bruce Bowen. And Stoudemire going up against his former Olympic teammate in this series, where Stoudemire and Marion played with Tim Duncan in Athens in the Olympics last summer. Stoudemire didn't play a lot, said it was a very difficult time for him, not getting a chance to play a lot of minutes.
Yeah, but he learned a lot about basketball. He also talks that up. And why? Because he's just playing with the guys on a daily basis, learning team moves that they had that were not a part of his game. And then naturally, he's really worked on his jump shot facing from 15 to 18.
Parker puts it in. Tony Parker all of a sudden coming alive. He's got 9 points. And a lead for the Spurs back to 6 with a minute and a half to play. Stoudemire. Again, just powers his way in. Stoudemire, 18 points in the second quarter.
Anytime that you play against a team 3 times during the season, you average, 39 points a game. I mean, you're coming in here in this series, you're saying, I don't care who guards me. I know I can score against this team.
And he shot 73% against them in those 3 games. As we mentioned, Parker that time can't hit. Ginobili with a pretty save. But throw it away, and Jackson.
2-on-1. Oh, great recovery. Great recovery in the transition defense by Parker.
And Parker comes down the other end. Beautiful play from Parker, first with the hustle, and then the floater.
Yeah, Mike D'Antoni's frustrated. But remember we said at the top of the show, one of the best defensive teams that we have in transition in this league, San Antonio. They do not give up. They run you down. You have a 2-on-1, 3-on-2. That extra guy is going to fight to get back down, and that's what Parker just did.
Greg Popovich asked him what's the #1 key transition defense. What's the #2 key transition defense?
There you go.
Duncan with his 9th rebound. So often the Spurs go as Parker plays, and he's playing so well right now. Shot blocked by Marion, but a foul. Mike D'Antoni very upset as Duncan will shoot 2 free throws.
See, you can see Mike, he's really all upset. He thought that they had potentially a shot block, if not good defensive pressure on Duncan. See, Marion feels that he can play him, and we also know, well, right there, he got him first, and then he got him a second time on the elbow. Now, naturally, the people here are a little upset on something like that because they want the non-call. But any time that it is a first-team All-NBA guy, you know it's going to be a call.
Mark Arveroni and his terrific assistant trying to settle Mike D'Antoni down. D'Antoni, 53 years old, won the NBA Coach of the Year. It's not his first Coach of the Year award. First one in the NBA. Won a couple of Coach of the Year awards in Italy, where he coached for many years. Of course, played 13 years in Italy. Was a big-time player there. A lot of success as a coach. Won a couple of championships. Met his wife over in Italy. It was a time well spent for Mike D'Antoni.
Absolutely, yeah. He did a wonderful job over there. In all of Europe, everyone is pulling for him to do well in the playoffs. He won the championships at Benetton, Mauricio, and then also in Phillips Milan. And he's a great guy, and he's held steady to his beliefs that you can sell this style of play. And then, fortunately for him, they've been able to play it without any serious injuries during the 82 games.
And it helps having a guy like Steve Nash make it all work. Pretty shot from Nash. Final seconds. Parker.
Got plenty of time.
Nice fake from Parker, but shot won't go. And that will end the second quarter. In the second quarter where Parker started coming alive. And Amari Stoudemire doing it for Mike D'Antoni. Stoudemire, 18 of his 20 points in that second period. Parker, meanwhile, 9 of his 11 in the second quarter. And at halftime, right now, it's a 6-point lead as we go to Michelle.
All right, thanks very much, Tony Parker. You got into your scoring rhythm late. How were you able to finally turn it on?
I'm just going to take my time. I have to be patient. I just have to wait for my turn. Manu got hot and Timmy too, so by the end of the second quarter, it's tough open for me.
Now, your coach, Greg Popovich, told us yesterday, first priority, second priority, third priority, transition defense. How would you grade yourself so far?
I think we can do a better job. I think they got a lot of easy stuff, especially with Stoudemire. We need to stay in front of him. If we can stop the transition, we'll have a good chance to win the game.
Tony, thanks for stopping.
Thank you,
back to you guys.
All right, Michelle, after the break, we'll join Mike Tirico, Bill Walton, Steve Jones, and their special guest, Dr. J. Julius Erving, with the Verizon Wireless Halftime Report. We'll give you an update on Shaq's injury and Chris Rock's NBA Minute. Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Winner will get the right to play for the championship. And it's the road team with a halftime lead. 6 points ahead.
Anytime that you know the guys are proven scores. Now Stoudemire on fire in spite of getting in foul trouble and only playing 4 minutes in the first quarter. Now the Marion 0 for 3. That's big because he averages 18 shots a game throughout the playoffs. And he's averaging 22 points. So you know, okay, San Antonio's, clever defensively, but come on, you've got to get this guy into your action.
And that'll certainly be a thing to look for to start the third as we go to Michelle.
I spoke with Mike D'Antoni at halftime, and he said, we've just got to get our mental energy up. We were on our heels early. We're not playing like this is the most important game of our season, and that's got to change. He said of their 44% shooting, that's got to pick up as well, but we're okay right now. Over time, those shots will drop. He's pretty relaxed, guys.
All right, Michelle, you can do sometimes after you play a tough series like both these teams do, and it's a game 6 or a game 7. Game 1 of the next series, sometimes it takes a little bit to get going.
Well, come on now. They played Friday night, light practice yesterday. You're playing an outstanding team, and you know they're noted for their defense. So you're out of rhythm a little bit in your offensive flow. Plus you have a fatigue factor because they played on the road Friday night at Dallas. Then you traveled. So, there are a lot of factors going into all of this. Everything cannot be perfect in game 1.
And has not been certainly been the case as Muhammad picks up his 3rd foul. Stoudemire back to the free throw line. He's already taken 9 free throw attempts. He has become a real star in such a short time here in Phoenix. Steve Nash has made sure of that. Ginobili. Again, good balance from the Spurs. Excellent passing. Muhammad can't hit it. Ball tipped, and it's going to be Spurs ball.
Now, that was by design. You could see they cut Ginobili off again going to the rim. On the pass that went into Duncan, it was time. Duncan was double teamed by Muhammad's man. You got to catch those big fella and finish. You must finish.
Duncan against Marion. Very intriguing matchups here in this one. 2 power forwards with complete different games. Marion played him well. Duncan short.
Yeah, Duncan short, and also he grabbed his leg that time. You notice he did not get any lift on that jump hook.
Again, he injured the left ankle in game 6 against Seattle. The right ankle is the one he had problems with there in the season. As Jackson knocks down a 3-pointer. It's only their 6th 3-point attempt of the afternoon.
Now, we know that they averaged 22 throughout the playoffs, 24 during the regular season. Jimmy Jackson, that is his 2nd 3 in this game.
Parker had a big second quarter.
Well, you can see, Mike, he's playing with a lot more confidence. In the first quarter, he started out 1 for 5 and was struggling. But now, once he came back off the bench, he feels he's in a rhythm right now.
Nash with the left hand, nice soft touch. Parker needs to be aggressive offensively because as terrific a player Nash is, he's not what you would call a great defensive player.
No, you're right there. But how about finishing with either left or right in the paint? And that's where Nash is just absolutely terrific.
Offensive foul. Just as we talk about Nash's defense, he makes a strong defensive play to draw that charge. 2 on Parker.
I like Parker's game, though, right now. He's going right at Nash. He's challenging him. Now, you could see that left elbow went right down, caught Nash on the hip as he moved him out.
Nash trying to bump into Parker down the other end and knocks it down.
Now Parker said something to Nash. Now, we all know that was both ends, each guy going at one another. An excellent bump by Nash to free himself up and then taking your time to get the shot.
Greg Popovich's got to be careful. He's going to get called for a technical. Yep, there it is. Popovich came way out on the court. What he was upset was he felt that Nash did the same thing to Parker that they called the foul on Parker on.
Well, at the one end, Parker definitely nailed Nash. Now, there's your push right there. Now, that's what Popovich is all upset about. Now, at the one end, you can take the foul, but you want the same call at the opposite end.
A sold-out America West Arena. You see the Ring of Honor with so many great players. It's been 12 years since they've been in the conference finals when players like Barkley and Marley and Kevin Johnson played. Of course, Jerry Colangelo has done so much for the franchise. Last year named or inducted into the Hall of Fame. And this year he's watched his son get Executive of the Year as the Suns, Hubie, with the third greatest turnaround in NBA history. Last year they won just 29 games. This year, 62, and a lot of people had a lot to do with it.
Yes, and you're happy for the people there because they went out, they made chances. When you think that not only did Nash and Richardson come here, but then the key moves after 50 games, they go out and they pick up Jimmy Jackson and Walter McCarty, and that solidified that 8-man rotation.
Meanwhile, Nash will shoot the technical. And able to put it in. And Greg Popovich upset. Steve Nash, third all-time in the history of the NBA in free throw shooting percentage.
That's what I said at the top. We tried to bring out the fact that throughout the playoffs, Nash is shooting, think about it, 52 from the floor, 42 in threes, 93 on the line. Now, I like what Joey's doing right now. Right there, Joey Crawford is not going to allow them to start grabbing a hold of people coming off the screens, etc., and moving. I like that. Keep this so that we'll get some type of a flow here.
And Bowen with the foul. The officials were told before the playoffs, call the game exactly the same way you did in the regular season. Stoudemire at that time. We've got a good crew, Joe Crawford, Jack Peace, and Jimmy Clark. All veteran officials. Nazi Muhammad couldn't hold on, trying to get the ball somehow, and Richardson takes it away.
And look out now, they have an advantage.
4-on-2. Nash, nice position.
What a pass!
It looked like they were going to turn it over, and all of a sudden he finds his man.
Absolutely, that's the old story, the vision, right? The peripheral, as he's up in the air, he had two guys that he could throw the ball to, and the defense, he had a thread of needle to Stoudemire, and then, who is better in finishing than this young man? Guy might be as good, Mike, but he's not better.
He was an inch away from a travel. Parker, pretty move. Tony Parker aggressively attacking the basket. He's got 15.
You can see it. He feels it. He feels that he can get down inside and finish.
Nash. Steve Nash now with 17 points and 6 assists.
That's the problem, though. When you score on Nash at the other end, he makes that look awfully easy.
Ginobili gets inside, speaking of awfully easy.
And you know that he will continue to challenge from now to the end of this game.
Jimmy Jackson for three. I would say the pace has picked up considerably.
Absolutely, and this is what you have to watch out for if you're San Antonio. Jimmy Jackson, that was his third three of this game. 3 for 4.
And they've outscored the Spurs by 10 to begin this third period. Ginobili for 3. Muhammad keeps it alive. Nice play from Nazi Muhammad. Muhammad with 3 offensive rebounds.
San Antonio, you got to get back to your best stuff. Take the double teams. That's exactly right. Take the double teams. Look for the cutter first. Then the perimeter guy will open up.
And Jackson for 3.
Boy. See, this is your transition defense. Even after a score, you have got to hustle back and get to those perimeter guys.
It's raining threes here at America West Arena. You get the feeling Ginobili and Parker want to play this pace. They love it. Well, now they're going to slow it down and get Tim Duncan involved. Shot clock down to 4. Ginobili blocked by Stoudemire. Marion with the save.
He's a monster down inside that painted area. Oh, great pass.
And a hard foul by Nazi Muhammad. That's his 4th. And Stoudemire will go to the line for 2.
Now we're going to give you the block first. Now Stoudemire throughout the playoffs is close to 3 blocks a game. See, he's coming from the opposite side of the lane. Now right here, this is threading a needle. That ball just blew right by the ear of Muhammad. And then see, your big guy who's running, he's got to have vision, Mike, but also good hands to catch the ball in traffic. And that's what this young guy possesses. He catches the ball and then finishes with thunder, or he's going to get fouled.
Stoudemire continues to get to the free throw line. That is his 11th attempt. Right from high school to the NBA, Mari Stoudemire, as Muhammad sits down with the 4th personal foul. Is the NBA Rookie of the Year over Yao Ming. Then last year had a terrific season, and this year just exploded, being a second-team All-NBA player.
Mike, put an ending on that. He's averaging 26 a game in the playoffs. He's only averaging 15 shot attempts. That's it. Talk about maximizing your shots.
Duncan can't get it to fall. Ball knocked loose, and it'll be a held ball.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I know Duncan is logging the minutes. All right, he's only sat out here like 4 to 5 minutes. But the key is he does not have the explosion. He does not have the explosion. Now, he got hit on the way up on that shot, but he still is not quick, because anytime that you have ankles, you're losing your balance, and now that you're injured on both ankles, now which one are you going to use your spin stuff off of?
You talk about those numbers from Stoudemire. Pretty impressive when your points per game average is higher than your age. And again, he has still so much room for improvement, and is a kid that wants to work at it and wants to become a better player, Stoudemire.
Well, see, everyone takes for granted that he's open. He's open because he reads the defenses and the rotations. He reads them beautifully.
Parker, the pretty floaters, had a few of those. And Tony Parker with 20 points. Stoudemire dribbling off his foot.
San Antonio, just take your time. Anytime that there is a dead ball or a score, run your offense, get everything into your rhythm.
Chance of defense, which is not a frequent chant here. This Duncan double D takes his time and strong finish.
Now, first of all, Marion fronted Duncan, and the double team came from the opposite side once the pass was in the air.
Nash, a little shake and bake, won't go. Stoudemire, the rebound blocked by Duncan. And here come the Spurs pushing the ball. Marion again trying to front Duncan. And a foul on Sean Marion. It is such a tough assignment for him, Ruby.
When the ball is on the left side of the floor and Marion fronts like he just did, when Bowen skip passes to the other side of the floor, Duncan is hitting Marion and moving to the rim. That was an easy call, but a smart move by Marion. He had to take the foul.
Stephen Hunter comes in. Hunter gave Mike D'Antoni some good minutes. Quentin Richardson sits down. He's just 1 of 5 from the field.
Yeah, see, this is an excellent defensive move. They're putting Hunter on Duncan now and then moving Marion to the small forward position.
Hunter with the size, a 7-footer. It's still not easy to guard Tim Duncan. Shot clock down to 3.
Big thing is take the double team.
Duncan draws the foul. Hunter doesn't like it, but he bumped him, and Duncan will shoot.
But that's okay. The main thing here is that you're forcing him to run the clock. And now just watch. See, Hunter is a shot blocker. You know, he got him. There's no doubt about that. But the big key is force Duncan to make the foul shot. During the season, Duncan was only a 67% foul shooter. Now, I know at playoff time he's shooting 73. But force him to make the foul shots.
So far, 3 for 4 this afternoon for Duncan. We're just under 5.5 remaining here in the third. Duncan uses a lot of time. It's the first one. Our NBA calendar, the Eastern Conference Finals begin tomorrow night on TNT, 8 Eastern from Miami. It's the Heat and the Detroit Pistons, game 1 of that best of 7. Then Tuesday on ESPN, we'll be here for game 2, 9 Eastern, between the Suns and the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals. Duncan gets on good streaks. And shooting confidently from the line, 5 and 6.
Right during the season, 4 out of the 5 starters for San Antonio shoot on the foul line in the 60s.
Good defense from Parker. Nash, though, able to get it back.
Plenty of time.
Stoudemire aggressive to the basket. It's 27 points for Amari Stoudemire.
He's so acrobatic. It looks like that he's totally under control at all times. And at his side, he can elevate and then change position of the shot.
Bowen to the rebound. Stoudemire, that's a tough catch. With full sprint, stripped. And Marion comes out. Marion still scoreless. Jackson for 3. Brent Barry had a big game earlier this season here in Phoenix in that overtime win. Had a couple of big threes. Robert Horry, Horry explodes.
Now, Barry and Horry had an excellent first half. They came in and gave them much-needed points.
And a reaching foul on the pass. Bruce Bowen with the foul. How about 34-year-old Robert Horry showing some hops, as they say.
Well, that's just, sure, that was just a good head fake, and Stoudemire committed. And once that happens, you must take him off the dribble. You know that he's not going to try to foul. He's not going to contest you outside. It's different when he's coming from the other side of the lane to help on a block shot. Now, Bruce Bowen has done an excellent job on Marion today. Not just holding him, but holding the shot attempt.
Hunter able to get it, and Hunter just flips it up. Stoudemire keeps it alive. You see Nesterovic in. Nesterovic has played sporadic minutes with Muhammad's emergence. And a kick ball, so they'll reset the shot clock from 7 to 14.
Well, Nesterovic, and another shot blocker. And we said that once you exhaust Muhammad, you're going to take Duncan out of there to give him a blow. Well, now, you know that Nesterovic is one of the keys to your defense. That's why they were so good last year and again this year. He's an excellent shot blocker. He understands their team defense, and he's good on rotation.
He had a left ankle problem at the end of the season that's just starting to get back to 100%. Nash, Jackson lost it. Right there to pick it up with Hunter, and Hunter draws the foul. And Stephen Hunter goes over the line with 3:53 remaining here in the third as we send it over to Michelle to play.
This late January, after a win in Boston, the Suns charter had just landed in Toronto. It's 2 a.m. There's a bus ride that has to follow. And as the team bus is driving down the interstate, one of the players plugs his iPod into a pair of speakers in the bus, and suddenly the entire Suns team is in the back of the bus singing Motown. And the bus driver turns to Mike D'Antoni and says, "I've been doing this for 15 years. I've never heard a bus like this." Mike D'Antoni told us yesterday that that is one of the singular moments of this season that stands out because it represents this team's chemistry and what the makeup of these guys is all about.
Well, they all say, Michelle, it's been a special year. It certainly has in this turnaround from last season.
Also, this thing called winning has something to do with it.
Barry puts it in. There are not a lot of teams that win 30 games that are singing on the bus.
That's right. Now, that was just a beautiful move. I like Trent's attitude. He's come in here all throughout this game, and he's looking to score. And they need him to put numbers when they go to their rotations off the bench.
Robert Horry with the steal. Horry does so many things. He's more than just that three-point shooter. Barry, meanwhile, for three. And Nash, another rebound. He's got 4 boards.
4 on 2.
Ginobili poked it away from behind.
It looks like
he got hit, though. And Parker, offensive foul. Parker lowered the shoulder.
Yep. Now, see, it comes down to your angle. Joey Crawford was right on that as Parker changed direction. Watch, see, as he went in, there it is right there. Excellent call by Joey Crawford.
Again, we've said it a lot. You don't have to have your feet set. If you're in defensive position, guarding position, Parker initiated that contact. That's a good call.
Sure.
3 fouls on Parker.
Naturally, you're coaching San Antonio. You want that call. It's a road game.
Nash.
Mike, that move has been open since the first quarter. And it's kind of interesting because San Antonio is such a great defensive team that he's getting the wide open, uncontested jumper.
Ginobili. Hard drive won't go. Jackson the rebound.
Look out. 4 on 3.
Nash picks it out. Marion still looking for his first points. There they are.
That's one of his spots. That's one of the toughest areas in the league to make the shot. Halfway between the basket and the sideline. It's no man's land. But Marion shoots a high percentage from that area.
A delay of game warning against the Suns for touching the ball after it went through the basket. So each team now with 1. Second one is a technical foul. Suns shooting 10 for 16 from the field in the third quarter. Parker. And Jimmy Jackson, the rebound.
Jimmy Jackson's having a great game here today.
He's done some good things defensively, too.
Yes, he has. Good ball movement.
There's a 3. And Stephen Hunter, another rebound, his 6th.
Yeah, I tell you, he's been active, Mike. Now, we've been bringing that up, but he's been active on the offensive glass.
Quentin Richardson from downtown, just his second field goal, and it gives the Suns their largest lead of the game. Timeout, San Antonio.
Ball in 20 seconds. We told you at halftime that the Suns only kicked up 5 3-point attempts. Now, they made and broke the NBA record this past season by making over 793. Now, that's what's starting to open up for them as we move through the 48 minutes of play.
The NBA playoffs on ABC, brought to you by Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light, refreshing hoop fans everywhere. Subway, experience the new great taste of a fresh toasted sub today. Subway, eat fresh. And the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
7-point lead for the Suns, who had trouble closing out the first quarter where the Spurs outscored them 18-6 down the stretch. Prompting Mike D'Antoni at the end of the second quarter to talk to his team during this timeout.
All right, guys, we got 2:49. The other series, we haven't closed out quarters well. And that will hurt us. I guess this is a better team. We've got to close.
Well, the third quarter, they're doing just that, UB.
Yeah, right here. Now, this is the part of the game that's opening up, the three-point shooting. They are 4 for 6 in this quarter. Now, we told you that they broke the NBA record this year by making 796 threes. Now, that averages out to a shade under 10 a game. They already have made 6 in this ballgame. And
you see the way they're ending the third quarter. The three-pointer is a big part of that. As the Suns, after trailing by 6 earlier in the period, with a 13-point turnaround. Tony Parker getting a rest right now. With some key players that have helped the Suns. Again, we talked so much about the bench. Stephen Hunter has done a very good job off the bench.
Absolutely. He's in there for his defense and shot blocking. He's done a terrific job.
Woodruff, nice drive, but the left-hander can't finish. Duncan right there, rushed the shot. And a foul call on Dana Woodruff. The Spurs in the penalty.
Yeah, Duncan is very upset with himself because he realizes that was a trick for him. On the normal conditions, now he's had 2 opportunities this quarter, and he's let them both up short. Now this is a strong move. Now here comes Timmy at his best. And you can see he's not leaning in. When he elevates, he's not leaning into the rim, and he's leaving him a little short.
Marion hits the free throw. Sean Marion, the third-team All-NBA player. He was 3rd in the NBA in rebounds, 4th in steals. Top 5 in both rebounds and steals. Only the 2nd player to ever do that since steals became an official stat. That was David Robinson. Pretty good company from Sean Marion. Duncan single coverage. Hunter foul on that time, and Duncan will shoot 2.
Now, Phoenix is holding tight. Anytime that Duncan makes the catch, no one is going off the three-point shooters. They're waiting for the ball to go down on the floor. Here comes the double team. Now, you could see that Timmy, he had his defender up in the air. That was a strong move, and he leaned in. And when you lean in, you get that physical contact, and you have a chance for a three-point play.
Duncan, 5 of 6 from the line. 15 points, 13 rebounds, and also 3 assists. First one goes. Remind you, Memorial Day weekend means the greatest spectacle in racing. Rookie Danica Patrick will be in the 2nd row and looking to make history at the Indianapolis 500 next Sunday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on ABC. Duncan looking very confident. That's a confident stroke at the free throw line.
Well, he's 7 for 8 today.
Woodruff on Nash. Stoudemire right now on the bench. For Phoenix, there's Richardson. That's not a good shot.
Bad angle. That was rushed. Corey was right up on top of it. Ginobili is a guy that's got to get going, Mike. And we know that he's so special. He's averaging up over 20 in the playoffs. And today they've been able to somewhat keep him under control. He's only had 9 shot attempts. Right now, very quiet 11 points.
Sean Marion on this picks up his 3rd foul. They're not, well, they are just in a penalty. That's their 5th. Ginobili to the line. Ginobili, who got the nickname from his teammate Brent Barry earlier this season, El Contusion. He has more bumps and bruises, and right now a right thigh that he injured in Game 6 against Seattle that's been bothering him. He goes down to the floor as much as anybody in the NBA. A little overly dramatic at times. But he plays, as you mentioned, with such passion every second he's on the floor.
What do they call that? Playing with flair. Something like that.
Final minute, 3rd quarter. Jackson taking off a bit.
Yep.
Hasn't finished. Duncan, quick outlet.
You got an advantage here. All the travel.
Well, Ori took that extra step, it appeared. There's about a 6.5-second difference between shot and game clock.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I thought San Antonio had 2 wide open shots.
Ginobili draws the foul. Terrific fake.
That was well done. Yeah, just keep an eye on this and watch as the defender. See, the defender gets bumped. There's your head fake, step in.
A 2-pointer, as you saw, his foot clearly inside the arc.
Absolutely.
So he'll shoot 2. And I thought one of the real signs of the progress of Manu Ginobili was Game 6 against Seattle, where in the final play of the game to win the game, Manu Ginobili had the ball. Shows you the trust that now Greg Popovich has in this young player.
Yep. Well, Pop answered that yesterday by saying absolutely. He's cut down on his game. He's more under control. He's not trying to make a sensational play. Now, we know that he's an outstanding finisher with that left hand and the way he plays the glass when he gets to the left side of the rim. Also, the fact that he can take the contact and potentially get you a 3-point shot off the drive.
He's used to having the ball in his hands when he played for his native Argentina. He's the leader of that team. Barbosa slips and falls. And a costly turnover perhaps with 5.6 remaining. Plenty of time for the Spurs.
Absolutely. Misread the clock. What you want your guy to do is come over half court, understand the clock situation. What you're doing right now is turning around and giving the Spurs an opportunity.
Some full court pressure. 5.6 left here in the 3rd.
Plenty of time here.
Nice play by Sean Marion.
What is this?
Marion gets it off in time. Oh, not a bad attempt, but a terrific defensive play from Sean Marion. The Suns scored 33 points in that 3rd quarter. They only had 20 in the 1st, 29 in the 2nd, now 33 in the 3rd. They're getting warmed up as we head to the 4th quarter. This has been a presentation of the NBA playoffs on ABC, and it will continue after these messages and a word from our ABC stations. Storyline for today, presented by Citi as we begin the 4th quarter. Suns, after that slow start, have really started to come on, Yubi.
You like the way they're attacking it? Their 3-point game has emerged. They're 6 for 13 in threes. You like what Stephen Hunter has done? Once Duncan got going, they bring in Stephen Hunter and play Stoudemire and Hunter together. Hunter in 22 minutes has 7 boards, 5 points, doing an excellent job.
And you talked about this, Mike D'Antoni talks about it all the time. You see how the game goes on. That's where the Suns, they wear you down because they play this pace for 48 minutes.
Well, Mike said I had to have a style of play that would emphasize the athleticism of our team. And then also getting Nash, picking up Richardson, and then Jimmy Jackson, key move. No doubt about it. Jimmy Jackson gives him an extra guy who can handle and then also shoot the 3.
Meanwhile, speaking of shooting threes, Robert Horry has made himself quite a name shooting threes in the postseason.
One of the best ever.
He's got 12 points in 19 minutes. Barbosa can't hit. Horry, another 3. And Barry with the offensive rebound. Duncan against Hunter. Hunter has played him well. Ball back loose. Picked up by Barry. Oh, nice move from Brett Barry.
That's a veteran player realizing shot blocking was coming. Bring it underneath the basket and come up on the other side and negate that 7-footer. Cut down his angle to block the shot.
It's 2 bench players in double figures for the Spurs. Jimmy Jackson can't finish.
We'll get it out here.
Ginobili, as Duncan runs the floor. Block for the goaltend. Credit 2 points for Duncan on Hunter's goaltend.
When you're at home, you go for every block. You can just take it, just go for it, because as this game moves to its conclusion, you put the pressure on the referees that they must make the call. And Stephen Hunter was just chasing that one all the way.
The Spurs have come out strong here to begin the 4th. Stoudemire. Boy, the combination of power and athletic ability and quickness is unbelievable.
Mike, he lost his balance. He actually slipped. A little bit like the Preakness yesterday, all right? Coming around in the stretch. He actually started to go down and regrouped and finished.
Duncan. Yeah, good call. A push off after missing the first shot. And Tim Duncan with his second foul.
You know, that's like reflex action. A lot of times players don't even realize they do it. But he definitely pushed in the back as that ball was coming off. Now just watch here. Once it goes up, you're going to see as it comes out the push off. All right, we didn't see it on that angle, but Joey Crawford had a great look at that along with us. It was right within our sight line.
Nash back in the game. Nash 19 points, 9 assists.
There it is again.
There's the opening.
Come on, that's there. That's there. Time and time again. He puts the pressure on the big man who is defending the screen to defense him in the paint.
Duncan. Hunter again defends him well. This time Duncan with a tough shot.
Now they're making Timmy work hard, and now they are staying with the three-point shooters, so they're not allowing him any angle to kick it out.
Oh, beautiful pass, and Hunter with the finish.
Oh, what a great move by Hunter. He was in the left-hand corner and actually ran that baseline, and Nash picks him out in traffic.
Hunter 7 points, 7 rebounds. Duncan rushed that shot. Boy, the rebound. Barry for 3, puts it in. Big second shot opportunity, and the Spurs back up by 2.
This is why you get established guys who can shoot for 3. Barry's now 3 for 6, looking for his shot.
Hunter spinning and putting it in. Stephen Hunter. Huge play off the bench for the Phoenix Suns.
I'm happy for Stephen. I mean, think about it. When you wave, all of a sudden you land, you get in the right spot. You have what they want, but then all of a sudden you work on your game, and you can finish now.
Meanwhile, Ginobili didn't finish, but he drew the foul on the way to the basket. And Ginobili will shoot a couple as we'll take a timeout with 3.5 gone by here in the 4th.
Now keep an eye to the right of your screen. You're going to see Nash looking. Hunter's moving without the ball on the baseline. Beautiful delivery by Steve. But how about that finish? And this is just a nice move. This is daily repetition, working on your one-on-one moves with the assistant coaches, with talent, without.
The NBA playoffs on ABC, brought to you by KFC. Try new Blazing Buffalo boneless wings and shatter your game time hunger. Nestle Crunch. Why be plain when you can be crunchy? And Chevy, the new Chevrolets, an American revolution.
Welcome back to Phoenix. Reminder, America's #1 show will end with the season's biggest shocker. The big mystery will be solved and not everyone will survive. The season finale, Desperate Housewives, tonight at 9, 8 Central only on ABC. Here to start the 4th quarter. You look at conference finals since 1990. I'd say winning game 1's been important.
I just like the way this game is played out. Duncan was very questionable. He has put in the minutes in this game. They need him to anchor the defensive glass and also to be a major threat in the post. The Suns, you knew, were coming in as one of the hottest shooting teams that we have in the playoffs. Since the first quarter, they're showing us why. And they're doing their thing in three-point shooting. But the Spurs have matched them in three-point makes. The foul shooting makes are exactly the same. So it's kind of interesting what's going down here.
Ginobili now at 20 points. Stoudemire back in the game, makes his move, stripped for the foul. Nazr Mohammed, who just returned, just picked up his 5th foul.
Well, Stoudemire presents so many problems. First, he can hit the jump shot facing. When you guard him, once he makes his move, you're always looking for the explosive jump. But then, once he runs that spin move on you and he catches you on the back, you're in a lot of trouble.
Stoudemire, this will be for Stoudemire his 13th and 14th free throw attempt. So he's surpassing what is already the NBA lead in this 2005 postseason.
Well, he's been consistent all year, Mike. Now, during the season, a shade under 10. And now at playoff time, naturally, more minutes, more opportunities for him. So consequently, he's going to keep going right to the basket. He's getting the calls, and he's doing an excellent job on the line.
Barry, oh, nice one-hander for Barry, who did not shoot well in the Seattle series, maybe playing against his former team. But what a game here. 15 points for Barry off the bench. Richardson for 3. Just under 8 minutes remaining. A 2-point Spurs lead. Starovich back on the floor with Muhammad's foul problem.
Now Richardson doing an excellent job on Barry.
Shot clock winding down. Parker. Good boxing out from Stoudemire. Here's Stoudemire. And they'll reset. Nash with 11 assists to go with 21 points.
Nice.
Ball knocked loose.
Yeah, but he saw him late. He saw him late, Mike. You know, he knew he had him, all right, but then he took that extra bounce, and then when he made the pass, the defense recovered.
Duncan walked. Oh, they did call it. Joe Crawford making the call. He took that extra step.
No, I tell you, the refereeing today has been outstanding. They've been the same at both ends. They've had an awful lot of difficult angles, and they've made the correct calls.
So Crawford, you can see there with the ball is Jack Neese, who at 67 years old is the oldest ref in the NBA since 27th season. How about him getting up and down the floor at age 67? Great shape.
That's good, yeah, absolutely. You know, they're going to wear you down from now down in. Everything is, now when you trap, he'll find the free man.
Shot clock down to 5 again. This is rare for the Suns. Stoudemire. He's got 33.
See, Starovich is not as agile as a Duncan or an Ori. So what he's going to do is he'll stare you down. If you take that step back, he's shooting that jumper in your face.
And as you say that, Ori gets up off the bench. Right. Ginobili also set to return. Parker playing with Duncan. Oh, tough catch for Duncan. Tim Duncan now at 23.
Now that was a great read and a great pass.
No, a blocking foul call on Barry. As Stoudemire goes barreling in. Barry's going to pick up his 2nd.
Said that they'll chase you down.
Say before the shot.
In this last 6 minutes and 20 seconds, the transition defense of the Spurs will be tested. Right there, I kind of thought that Barry definitely was there. You can turn your body as long as you're not moving, and I thought he took that one. That was a brave move by Barry because the big fella had a head of steam.
Instead, he picks up his 2nd foul and the inbound. Nash. Oh, nice move, but just couldn't finish, and Duncan right there. And Nash a reach in. That's going to be the 2nd team foul and 2nd foul on Nash.
Yeah, from that angle, I was surprised that Steve did not try to bank that. That was a tough angle to swish the shot. He read the defense perfectly because he never gets upset. When he comes off, and if you trap him or if you switch out, he'll keep his dribble until he gets an advantage. Then he'll make a move.
Always looking to pass first. Heard of the me first attitude of athletes. He's got a you first attitude. Duncan left hand.
Now that was beautiful. That was set up to put Duncan in a post up right in front of the basket. Excellent look, good delivery of the pass by Ori.
And a 4-point lead now for San Antonio. Duncan with 25. Nash with the high arcing shot.
Now, that's what happens when you switch. Yeah, Ori's on it. So what he does is he moves you over, and then he gets the space, and then you're allowing him to get that open jumper.
Parker inside. Good poise from Parker off the double team. And Parker now with 22. Jimmy Jackson as Duncan comes out. Jackson puts in the two-pointer.
What a game by Jimmy Jackson.
He's got 20 points.
Yep.
And 7 rebounds, plus the defense you talked about.
That's right. He's done a terrific job all game. He's staying within the flow. He has not rushed any of his opportunities, and he's spotting up beautifully and playing off of Nash.
Closest right now, 100-98. Spurs by 2 with 5:02 remaining in the fourth. 2-point game with just over 5 left in the fourth. Time now for Cooler Talk, presented by Gatorade. Greg Popovich with the Cooler Talk. You play the Phoenix Suns. What's the #1 key to victory?
Absolutely, unequivocally, transition D. No transition D, might as well leave and go to dinner.
Now you can see it right here. They will run you down. Even though you have an advantage, they are and have been consistent for years in running you down. They never give up. Watch Parker in the middle of your screen. That took a major burst. Right here, Ginobili running down a 2-on-1. So they're coming at you all the time.
And there you see what they've been able to do. This team is so explosive, but that's why San Antonio has always been one of the best defensive teams in the NBA.
Absolutely, Mike. There are no gimmies when you have an advantage in transition. They run you down because they play transition defense with their heart.
Duncan single coverage. Jackson looking to cheat over. Duncan kicks it out. Barry, a long three. That's good. That's Barry from way downtown. And Barry having a sensational game. He's got 18.
Barry is 18. Ori is 12. They have 30 off the bench between the two major subs.
This is the largest lead by either team here in the fourth quarter. Nash.
Isn't it amazing how easily he gets there? And then it's an open shot.
Trying to take it away, give and go with Parker. The extra pass. Barry was open. That's how he passed it up.
Plenty of time.
Not this time, a three. Brett Barry, back-to-back threes. And the Suns need a timeout.
Yeah, they need a timeout, and they have got to get down on not leaving Barry. I mean, Barry is proving it today that he is knocking it in. He's hot, but he's shooting a major percentage in threes. He's taking his time, and that possession was a beautiful description of how they play. They take their time, they passed up a couple shots, they moved it, looked at the double team, kicked out, and in-your-face three by Brent Barry.
Spurs with an 8-point lead with over 4 left here in the fourth. The Western Conference Finals returns to ABC next Monday night from San Antonio. Game 4 between these two teams next Monday night primetime starting at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, home of the NBA Finals.
You can see it right there. 21 and 12 points. But how about the field goal percentage shooting and then the three-point shooting? They are 7 for 12 between them. Barry on fire during this third. After we're rushing here from the third into the fourth quarter.
He's 5 for 5 from the field in the fourth as we go to Michelle.
Well, Mike D'Antoni during that last timeout, it was all about adjustments on Brent Barry. He said, whoever's on Barry, don't leave him. We cannot let Barry have the ball. But they also had to remind the Suns, look, we've been here before. We have all kinds of time. Keep pushing, rev it back up.
Nash gets inside again. Stoudemire pass deflected by Duncan. Stoudemire gets it back. Powers in, shot won't go, but a foul. And Stoudemire will shoot 2.
Now, you like the defense. San Antonio, they're a little exasperated because they thought they had a couple deflections. And unfortunately, they didn't come up with the loose ball. But this guy is quick. And then you can see he hesitated, got his balance, and then went up strong to the rim.
Stoudemire now his 15th and 16th free throws. Duncan picks up the foul. That's the third on Tim Duncan. And another superb game for Amari Stoudemire. And remember, he only played 4 minutes in the first quarter.
Right.
He picked up 2 quick fouls.
When they get to game 2, they must figure out how to get Shawn Marion involved. You know, we have 3 minutes and 49 seconds to go. Marion only has 5 shot attempts in this game.
And just 1 field goal. He's done other things, but they do need his scoring.
That's right. He's averaging 22 points a game in 10 playoff games.
Under 4 minutes remaining. Ginobili nearly fell down. That's nothing new.
Yeah, plenty of time here.
Parker, the runner. Parker puts it in. Pretty play from Parker, who's got 24.
Now, that was beautiful. If you're going to shade the offensive player to go to his left, well, then you need the rotation. And it was not there. Parker read the defense perfectly, and as he moves to the basket, I don't want to say it was a moving screen, right? but let's just say that the defender who was supposed to be rotating could not get there.
Meanwhile, the lead back up to 8. And you look at the shooting in this fourth quarter. Here's where the defense is supposed to step up. It's been the offense that has done a superb job. Well, the Suns are the team that can come back. They showed it in Dallas in Game 6 to put them here in this Western Conference Final. Shawn Marion can't get it to fall. Stoudemire, another rebound.
Yeah, plenty of time to just back it out. Stay within your offense. Now to pick and roll, and then see how they defend it.
Parker, the reach-in foul. And there, that should be the 15th foul for Parker. That's his 4th.
Yeah, see right there, Popovich was a little upset with that. Naturally, why? Because as Nash came off, he really did not have an advantage. Parker had good position. You'd rather that he not foul.
So Nash to the line. Again, this is the last guy you want to put to the free throw line. And as Nash hits the first, you know, the Phoenix Suns score a lot of points, but San Antonio's done a pretty good job when they hit the 100-point mark.
Absolutely.
So Nash now from overall 25 points, 12 assists. Coming off one of the great series in the history of the Phoenix Suns franchise and what he did against Dallas, and he's doing it here against San Antonio. But his team is down by 6.
They'll take their time coming off that screen. They'll force to see how you're going to play. Can they get the entry into Duncan?
Duncan drops it in, and Tim Duncan with 27.
He's getting what he wants now, and also he's turning in with that left shoulder right into Hunter, and then coming up over the top.
Duncan has 10 points in the fourth quarter. Bad pass to Nash. And Jackson in pursuit, but he's going to let Parker put it in, and the lead is now up to 10.
See, they're trapping Nash hard now with Duncan, and when they trap him hard, the defense is rotating, and they're rotating quick.
Oh, nice pass inside to Hunter. Hunter blocked by Robert Horry. Stoudemire on the follow.
Oh, maybe. What a shot.
And Horry comes up. It looked like he took a knee to the thigh.
Yes, he did.
Spurs really coming on strong here in the fourth quarter. They made their last 8 shots from the field.
Well, they stay within their offense. They stay with what they want. No rush.
Duncan double team, way short. Horry the rebound, he kicks it out. Shot clock at 1. Parker can't get it to fall, and Jackson the rebound. Under 2 minutes remaining. Nash inside. Hunter couldn't hold on to the pass, and he fouls Robert Horry.
Well, Hunter's upset with himself. Mike, when Nash made that move, he was anticipating Hunter moving to the basket. Hunter got hung up, and when he made the pass, he could not make the catch. Now just keep an eye on this replay. See, look to the right of your screen. See, he was looking for him to step up, but he did not step up. He just stayed stationary. If you step up, you make the catch and you get the dunk.
Coming up on 1.5 minutes remaining. Spurs have already scored 34 points here in this fourth quarter. And Wisely now taking time off the clock.
That's right. They're so well disciplined.
Ginobili, tough shot, he puts it in.
We said, where was Ginobili? Ginobili was just waiting. That's all we're saying, where is he? Guy's got 17 points.
And he fouls Steve Nash. Nash will shoot 2 free throws.
Yeah, this is where Ginobili is tough because the clock is down. You're running out of faith. Not only does he beat his man, he beats the rotating man, and then he can finish.
So Nash 3 for 3 from the line. Again, one of the premier free throw shooters in the history of the NBA. These are important right now in terms of the clock stop. The Suns score some points. Down by 9 with 1:21 left. And Greg Popovich wants to talk things over. So the crowd here at America West Arena, they've been roaring all afternoon. Quiet right now as the Suns in some trouble. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, World News Tonight, Sunday on your local news. And then primetime menu for this evening at 7, Extreme Makeover Home Edition, 2-hour edition. Then 9, Desperate Housewives. And then at 10, Grey's Anatomy. Season finales of all your Sunday favorites tonight. As the San Antonio Spurs, a great fourth quarter. Steve Nash, the deserving MVP, but there's another former MVP who's putting on quite a show here this afternoon.
Yes, he is. And we're talking about a guy who we know was injured, very questionable. 27 points, 15 rebounds, will end up playing 41 minutes. And we can never give enough praise to Brent Barry and Ori. Between them right now, when you look at it, 24 and 12, not bad. Not bad.
Meanwhile, you see Duncan and Nash, a couple of MVPs. And what's special about both these two guys, Yubi, is their number one priority is winning. They're unselfish. They're as competitive as anyone, but at the same time, respect their opponents when they're playing.
Well, remember I said now, John Marion only has 6 shot attempts. We're talking about a guy who's averaging 22 points a game throughout the playoffs. Something has got to change when you get to game 2.
Parker, pretty play. 10-point lead as we come up on a minute remaining. Suns just have not been able to get any stops here in the fourth quarter. And a hard foul, Ginobili on Stoudemire. It's going to be 3 on Ginobili. Stoudemire will shoot.
Mike, you just made a great point. The lack of defense, the ability to either get a shot block, to force a turnover, to get the to get the Spurs to miss a shot. The Spurs have dominated the tempo. They're taking their time. They're looking at the double teams. They're picking out the right guys. No double team. Duncan is going strong to the basket one-on-one. And it's typical Spur basketball. Nothing flashy, everything cerebral, hard defense, and then unselfish play and distribution of the basketball.
39 for Stoudemire. This unbelievable performance, but again, it's this end that they need some help. Ball knocked loose out of bounds. Still Spurs ball with 12 on the shot clock.
Now think about it. These two teams have played 4 times this year. And Stoudemire is averaging 39 points in the 4 games. Think about that a second. Against the San Antonio Spurs.
Now, one of the games was without Tim Duncan, but the other ones with Duncan there, he was just as explosive.
Oh, let's take it back. Yes.
Ginobili, Duncan, blocked, but a foul. The foul is not against Stoudemire, who made a clean block. It's against Richardson down low. And Duncan will go to the line. Well, it's very obvious. If the Spurs hit their free throws down the stretch, they're going to win this game. But they start to miss them, the door opens a bit.
Well, that's why we brought out the point. During the season, 4 out of 5 starters for San Antonio shooting in the 60s. All right, but now at playoff time, they've improved their foul shooting. They're shooting it at 75%. Now, if they're going to make a march through this series and then through the playoffs for a ring, it must stay consistent. They've got to shoot that foul shot at 75, 76%.
Duncan, prior to that, misses it 7 of his first 8. 27 points, with 15 rebounds, playing on the tender ankle. The lead is 9. Nash inside looking for Richardson. Richardson tough shot. Will go. 7-point game with 30 seconds left.
Yeah, they'll just keep the ball in the hands of their good foul shooters.
They have to foul right away. Oh, that's a hard foul.
Yeah, no. It's all right.
You know, I don't think he meant anything right away, but Ginobili started going down, so he grabbed him around the neck.
Yeah, I think they were surprised that Phoenix was not down the court looking for the steal. All right, that's a foul. You can see that we know that he wasn't trying to grab him around the neck here or smack him in the head.
And he plus tried to hold him for his fall at the end of it. And some of the fans here at America West starting to head for the exits as the Spurs just not being able to be stopped. What an explosive fourth quarter. They've got 40 points in the period.
Well, it's the outstanding three-point shooting, naturally led by Barry. Then their ability to take you off the dribble, get inside the paint, and score at will. Then they're going to the foul line, making all of their foul shots, and they just are putting, and they have put, a relentless pressure on Phoenix to execute perfectly at the end of the floor, which they have not been able to do. Their ability to chase them off the three-point shot attempt has been major, especially in this quarter.
Mike D'Antoni calls the timeout. Again, a reminder, TNT. Eastern Conference Finals start tomorrow night from Miami as the Heat will host the Detroit Pistons, game 1 of that best of 7, and then Tuesday on ESPN, game 2 of this series, 9 Eastern start from West. Duncan and the Spurs so impressive here to start in game 1. As we said earlier, they haven't been a great road team this year, but they've won some big road games, certainly game 6 against Seattle, and coming here to start off this series.
Well, you know, they played 3 times during the season, and San Antonio averaged 114 points. So we're not shocked that they have the points up on the board, but we are kind of surprised in the major production by Barry and Ori. The three-point shooting has been outstanding. Now, when you think that the Suns get off more three-point shots than anyone else there in the year, 24 a game. Well, here we have San Antonio with over 22 three-point attempts, and that has been key in this game.
You see Barry throughout the playoffs only averaging 6 a game. In fact, in the series, the entire series against Seattle, he hit 6 3-pointers. He's got 5 here in game 1 of the conference finals. And this is why they signed him. He's such a smart player. He had his ups and downs this season in terms of inconsistency and feeling out the team. He had some good stretches as well when Ginobili went out, but he's such a cerebral player, and he's got that three-point ability.
Well, that's their approach here. They just moved him in, you know, babied his minutes. Same thing with Ori. If you notice, Ori only averaged 18, 19 minutes during the season. They're saving him for the time that it really counts.
And the Spurs giving up the 2-pointers. 7-point game. Ginobili knocked loose out of bounds, and it's still Spurs ball. Last touch by Stoudemire.
Yeah, dangerous pass. Anytime that you are in what a type of a zone press where you are using an athlete like Hunter to be your midfielder.
Shot clock is turned off. 22.9 remaining. They have to foul right away. Ginobili gets away. And the Spurs are going to take game 1. There's the foul with 18.4 remaining in a 7-point game. And a disappointing start for the Phoenix Suns here in this series. You know, ironically, you felt because of the quick turnaround that might benefit Phoenix, even though they played Friday night. The fact that Duncan hurt his ankle, could have used maybe a couple more days rest. The Spurs didn't want to play today. They were hoping that Dallas won in game 6 to force a game 7, but Duncan came out and was sensational.
Yeah, but that's why this guy is first-team All-NBA 8 straight years. He's first-team All-Defense, and that's what we tried to bring out at the top. If he is in there, you know that he's going to anchor their defense. They have the shot blocker, and then they also have the rebounder. And the fact that he has 15 rebounds today, and he just anchors everything for you. Then at the other end, whether he has a hop or not, when that ball goes into him, you have got to pay attention. Once he puts it down on the floor, here comes the double team. He's finding the three-point shooters, and then Barry knocks in 5, and it's lights out.
Everything comes easy when you have a player of Duncan's caliber who's on the way of being one of the all-time greats in the history of the NBA. It's 8 straight years, All-NBA first team, and you can't find better company than
that's like a who's who. All 4 of them, top 50 players of all time.
And again, does it with such little fanfare, little flash. He just wants to win, not concerned about his numbers. Greg Popovich knows how fortunate he is to have him as his leader, because it all filters down. Stoudemire. 6-point game with 14.9. Spurs are still going to have to hit some free throws.
That's right. You never say that it's over. They say if you're going to front, then the midfielder has got to be up there to catch that long pass. They just threw that ball close to 40 feet, and the midfielder was not there.
So Parker now needs to hit free throws. Parker 28 points, 13 of 22 from the field. And you see the free throw numbers. A big game for Parker, way short.
Now you have to be careful here. Now just remember, with Bruce Bowen in the game, if you notice, they sent Bowen up to that left-hand corner to get him out of the way so he would not get fouled. Why? Because he's shooting only in the 40s. Now this is a break.
Oh, that's the killer right there.
That's the killer right there is right.
And the opportunity was there for the Suns.
That's right.
As Parker missed both. He's upset with himself. He's going to get another chance to do it.
Well, during the 82 games season, Parker was a 65% foul shooter. Now at playoff time, he's improved his game, and he has been, right at that 70 mark. Now for him, that's an improvement. But you know yourself, you got to force him to make the shots. Foul him, make the foul shot. Same thing with Duncan. You want to play, even though he's making them, he's still got to prove that he can make them under the pressure within that last minute.
3 straight misses from Parker, still a 6-point game, and that one will make it a 3-possession game. And final timeout call by Mike D'Antoni. Boy, that offensive rebound, a real killer.
Yeah, that was a killer.
Would have had a chance of a 2-possession. And D'Antoni calls his final timeout. Duncan playing on that bad ankle with a superb game once again. The Western Conference Finals. Be back on ABC next Monday. That'll be game 4 from San Antonio. In the SPC Center. The series resumes Tuesday night, however, here in Phoenix in game 2. Conference Finals also 2-2, 1-1-1 in terms of the 7-game setups. Not till the finals where it goes to 2-3-2. San Antonio, very impressive. Winning here at America West Arena. They won here earlier in the regular season in an overtime thriller. You see game 2 Tuesday, then a good gap there. And hopefully for Phoenix, they'll get Joe Johnson back by at least Saturday when the series shifts to San Antonio.
Well, that will give them another major scorer, another athlete who can play any one of 3 positions defensively, also another finisher, and then you do not have to go to a backup point guard. You just move Joe Johnson into the point guard position anytime that you want to rest Steve Nash. So it gives them, flexibility within their substitution. And also you're adding a major scorer.
8.9 remaining. Again, a 3-possession game right now. They have to shoot 3s right away. Jackson does so. Shot won't go. Ori the rebound, and the Suns will let this one run out. As the San Antonio Spurs on the road take game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, and they do so by scoring 43 points in the 4th quarter, shooting an incredible 16 of 22 from the field. The final score, Spurs 121, the Suns 114. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com. Search ABC Sports. Next on ABC on the West Coast, stay tuned for ABC World News Tonight, Saturday, or your local news. For Yubi Brown, Michelle Tafoya, and our entire ABC crew, this is Mike Green saying, so long from Phoenix. You're watching ABC Sports Championship Television. A real surprise in the playoffs with Bowen and Duncan, the defensive stalwarts. And of course, this high-scoring starting 5, Jimmy Jackson starts again in place of Joe Johnson. And right now, let's send it to Michelle.
Well, Mike, Tim Duncan is playing today because, as Greg Popovich told me a few minutes ago, Tim Duncan said he was going to play today after spraining that left ankle in Game 6. Duncan's status for today was very much in question, even as late as this morning. But the Spurs medical staff said Duncan can't make the ankle worse by playing, and Duncan says he feels fine. But Popovich told me he's going to have Duncan on a short leash. If he sees him begin to hobble at all, he will pull him and protect him for later in the series. Remember, as you said, with both ankles struggling, Duncan doesn't have much of an anchor right now, so that's something to watch, Mike and Hubie.
Certainly the most important injury note for the San Antonio Spurs, and of course for the Suns, Joe Johnson with that displaced fracture in the orbital bone above the eye. He is out as well for this afternoon. Of course, the San Antonio Spurs advance in 6 games, hard-fought series against Seattle. Meanwhile, the Suns, a hard-fought series against the Dallas Mavericks, and a quick turnaround in this Western Conference Finals, and a very experienced crew, 70 years of NBA experience. Joe Crawford, Jack Neese, and Jimmy Clark. And Ginobili quickly gets inside, not a bad way to start.
Well, as you know, the Phoenix players all want to play over 40 minutes, and when you do that, they are not going to take unnecessary fouls. If you get down in that paint, they'll allow you to get to the front of the rim.
Jackson fires up and puts it in. Jimmy Jackson, of course, has stepped up since Joe Johnson went out with the injury. He's been starting the last several games, and he's played very well.
Well, what he gives them also is off the dribble. He's like another point guard. He can make the pass in traffic, and he's excellent off the dribble.
Some of the early matchups you see, Stoudemire is on Muhammad. Duncan gets it inside, and an easy two for Duncan, who has Marion to start. That's a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, see, this is going to be the big test to me. Wherever Duncan is on the defensive end of the floor, anytime that he is matched up with Marion, Marion is the X factor for the Phoenix offense. Off the dribble, three-point shooting, and then on the board.
Nash passes up a shot, gets it to Marion, and Marion can't get it to fall, kept it alive, but Nazi Muhammad the rebound.
Anytime that Marion shoots, Mike, you must put a body on him. He's one of the best we have at getting to the offensive board.
Duncan inside, quick shot won't go. And Suns, of course, will push, averaging 116 points a game in the playoffs. That by far the most in the league. And Parker, an inadvertent trip, picks up his first.
Well, inadvertent, Mike, he is great at changing pace off the dribble. The toughest guy in the league, along with Jason Kidd, in keeping their dribble. They will have nothing on the first or second option out of the offense. They keep the dribble from one side of the floor to the other, and it's a nightmare for the guy guarding them and also covering the three-point shooting.
Short, a couple of international guards going at each other. Parker, of course, from France, Nash from Canada. Parker told us yesterday, you can't relax for a second when you're guarding Steve Nash.
Big thing today, Parker and Ginobili must come in with big points to help Duncan.
Parker misfires, Jackson the rebound. Nice feed inside, Stoudemire. As Duncan got a hand on it, manages to save it, but then throws it away.
You have to be heads up now with the Spurs. The Spurs play the passing lanes as well as anyone.
Parker likes this pace, even though San Antonio doesn't want to get into a running match. Parker can play a good pace. Stoudemire misses the dunk.
When you're young, Mike, and you have talent, and they call you young Colt, of course you can run at this pace.
Muhammad flips it in nicely. Are you surprised how quickly the Spurs are pushing?
Yeah, I am, but we have to remember now, the Spurs are one of the best fast-breaking teams out of half-court defense that we have. What they will not do is force bad shots. That's the luxury of the Spurs. The key now, remember, San Antonio will take you off the dribble strong to the rim. You cannot play matador defense or you're going to give up a lot of points in the paint.
Nash picks it out to Jackson. Stoudemire inside. This is but a foul. Nazi Muhammad with the personal. And Stoudemire will shoot two.
Well, we know that Stoudemire is going to wear out Nazi Muhammad as well as Nesterovic or Ori. If you move Duncan in behind Muhammad, then Ori will have to pick up Marion. To me, the biggest match in this series for San Antonio is what are you going to do with Shawn Marion? He is the X factor to me at both ends of the floor.
Stoudemire and Nash, of course, get so much of the acclaim. Marion made All-NBA third-team defense. Is it possible that a guy who's an all-star and All-NBA third-team is underrated?
Oh, absolutely. I feel that he is one of the most underrated players we have in the league. Mike, the guy averaged over 11 rebounds a game over 82 games. That's third best in the league. And we know that he really is a small forward playing power forward.
Meanwhile, Stoudemire, who gets to the line more than anyone in the playoffs, over 13 attempts a game, knocks down his first two today. Parker falls down, stepped out of bounds. Marion, his help defense.
I like what I see on that. Phoenix is saying, you know, we are not going to allow Tony Parker into the middle of the floor. They are going to send him to the baseline. And a lot of times when players have not been sent to the baseline in a while, you know, it is an area of the floor. Can you make the mid-range jumper? Can you get into the paint and then kick out and look for your three-point shooter?
Parker's so important to their success often as he goes, as Richardson misses the three. Richardson trying to find some consistency in his shot in the last couple of games. Duncan double team down low. That means Nazi Muhammad will have some opportunities. Duncan the offensive rebound, knocked away. Muhammad picks it up. Muhammad head fake inside and draws the foul.
That's working. The Spurs are an outstanding offensive rebounding team. For a team that shoots such a high percentage as they do, they get to the glass. Now, with Muhammad, this was a great pickup for San Antonio. He has the long arms. He likes physical punishment. And then you also have to deal with Duncan. When they come with Nesterovic, you have 3 guys at 7 foot who want to get in and take the punishment to get the second shot attempt.
Muhammad was acquired in February from the New York Knicks for one of the most popular players in Spurs history, Malik Rose, but he's fit in beautifully. In fact, Rasho Nesterovic, who was hurt, was the starter, but Muhammad played so well when Nesterovic went out with the injury. Nesterovic is healthy again. Greg Popovich is not, I'm going to leave Muhammad in, and he has performed very well in the postseason.
Well, that's just a testimony to the fact that Muhammad has answered the bell. Now, Nesterovic started the first 70 games here.
Popovich using the Lou Gehrig, Wally Pipp analogy, which is a bit of an exaggeration.
But it might be dating yourself a little bit here.
Richardson blocked by Muhammad.
We tried to bring out to you early. Now remember, they are an excellent San Antonio, an outstanding shot blocking team.
Of course, with Muhammad and Duncan. Duncan, nice catch in traffic. A sharp pass from Ginobili. And a foul. Stoudemire to pick up his second foul. So that's going to be something Mike D'Antoni has to look at. And he's going to have to come out of the game. Mike D'Antoni does not go to his bench very often. That's one of the question marks for these Phoenix Suns. They had the great regular season, won the 62 games, Juby, but the question was, do they have the depth to get through all these tough playoff series?
Well, it isn't like they do not have players over there that can play. They have players 9, 10, 11, and 12, all experienced guys on their bench. But what Mike has put in here is a style of play. He only likes to rotate 8 players. Now, in this series, you can see when you say Duncan moving without the ball, also Muhammad moving without the ball, well, they're going to put a lot of pressure on Stoudemire.
It's a very beautiful purple bench in the park. As you can see, they don't get a lot of minutes, and the bench is depleted now because Jimmy Jackson, who usually comes off the bench, is a starter with Joe Johnson's injury.
Like we say, don't worry about the guy who's moving up into the starting lineup. Worry about the guy who's getting the minutes for that bench position.
And the first bench player, Hunter, comes in with Stoudemire. Those 2 quick fouls. Jackson, Ginobili runs at him, so Jackson gets in the paint nicely. And finish and Duncan the rebound.
One of the best teams, San Antonio, chasing you off a 3-point catch. You catch the ball like Jimmy Jackson did, they get out and rotate, and they close you down, force you to dribble a basketball.
Duncan moves further than he normally shoots, and he's short. Suns, meanwhile, UV, after hitting their first shot from the field, have missed their next 8. Their Nash will put it up. It's 9 straight misses as the Spurs have a 6-point lead.
You never worry if you're a fan of the Spurs, because we all know that their defense will be there. They'll challenge, but the big key is, can you keep challenging the Suns over a 48-minute period?
Suns were down 16 in the third quarter in Game 6 against the Mavericks on the road. Came back and won that thriller in overtime. Steve Nash was the man who made it happen. Nash and Marion playing just beautifully. Richardson steps back. Can't connect. And Duncan the rebound.
Think about it. No second shot attempts for Phoenix. They're missing, but they're getting no second shot attempts. That is big.
Second turnover for San Antonio. Richardson running the floor. And there's the fast break opportunity.
Well, that's what we said at the top. San Antonio's transition defense will be tested for the full 48 minutes. We know that Nash will be totally unselfish on the break. That's why you'll always see the white shirts running hard to fill a lane.
Duncan posting up Marion.
Great.
And again, Muhammad's going to have a lot of opportunities.
Well, anytime that you double Duncan, he's so unselfish, he will never force up a bad shot. He will always take the double team and look for the cutter going to the front of the rim. Nazim Muhammad, just get to the front of the rim, son, and you will have a field day here.
Muhammad put up some very good numbers in the Seattle series as Nash drops it in. Nash shooting an incredible percentage for a guard with his first field goal. And a timeout call by the San Antonio Spurs. As we approach the midway point of the first, the Spurs defense has been the story early.
the NBA playoffs on ABC. Brought to you by Hummer. Check out the H2. Hummer like nothing else. McDonald's. Playoffs go better with a McDonald's double quarter pounder with cheese sandwich. Pound one. Bud Light. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all here. And The Honeymooners. Only in theaters Friday, June 10th. Rated PG-13.
Nearly halfway through the first quarter, and the Spurs leading game 1 by 4. One of their strengths coming into the series, Ruby Brown, was dominating inside, and they're taking advantage early.
Well, you like their transition game. They're going strong. They're not picking up their dribble. Now, he has Ginobili. We know he's a major key. If they're going to front Duncan, you know the lob will be there. Parker has got to keep completing here now. Everything is going well for them early. Anytime you double, they're going to look for the cutter to the front of the rim. Now, in spite of all of this, Phoenix is shooting 23%, and they're only 4 down. And you know they're on fire throughout the playoffs, shooting 49% from the field. You know they're going to run a hot streak here. Can the Spurs keep this up defensively and continue to get into transition?
Well, Spurs bring out 2 bench players, Robert Horry and Brent Barry. Pretty good guys that come off the bench in the playoffs. Ball knocked loose as Marion with a rebound.
Now that's the second long field goal by Duncan, and both shots, his weight was going backwards, and he left them right on the front of the rim short. He's got to get up and shoot through. Now remember, we told you now, the right ankle that he sprained 3 times, missed 16 games. We know that it's tough, getting balance there. Now with the left ankle, it's going to be interesting to see as he plays through this. Will he have the jumping ability? Can he spring out?
Jackson for 3. Oh, they say a 2. His foot just on the line. Jimmy Jackson with his second field goal, and it's a 2-point game. You mentioned Duncan missed those 16 games. The Spurs would have had a chance perhaps to vie for the best record
absolutely
in the NBA, but without Duncan it was hard to. And Nate, may be the difference in this series as Parker comes up short that time. Conley holding the rebound as he bumped into Marion.
I sure did. Are you going to tell me accidental? Well placed. Well placed, Mike.
You mentioned the home court as Nash misfires and a loose ball foul, and it's going to go against San Antonio because the Spurs, they're a good road team, 21-20, but they weren't a great road team this year.
Well, you love the best road team, Phoenix Suns. When you say 31-10 at home, 31-10 on the road, that is just a knockout stat in your favor. What I like going so far now, San Antonio, their first group, yeah, they held you to 1 shot. But now when you go to the bench with Horry, you're smaller right now. Can you continue to keep Phoenix off the offensive board?
Nash with the hook shot. We saw that earlier in the playoffs. Doesn't go that time. That last foul, by the way, was on Duncan. And that's his first. Nash 1 for 5 to start. He's just shocked when everything doesn't go in the way he's been shooting.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Nash putting up an incredible numbers.
San Antonio will take their time in their half-court sets.
Barry off the mark. Duncan trying to get it, but Nash just out hustles. Lots it inside to Hunter. And if they can get some minutes from Hunter with Stoudemire on the bench, what a plus that is.
Yeah, this is a test right now. Duncan is matched up with that young thoroughbred Hunter at 7 foot, and he is running hard. Can Duncan change him, and especially as we move through this first half?
Bowen spots up for 3. Neither team shooting well.
Yeah, when you miss those long threes, this is where you're igniting the fast break for the Suns.
Nash, his second field goal, and the Suns have their first lead of the game.
Yeah, see, Popovich, you've got to be concerned. Nash is getting inside of 17 and 18 feet at will. All of his shots are easy, wide open shots.
Bowen, that's his favorite spot. That time.
Got to knock him down.
And Richardson, the rebound. Spurs 0 for 5 from 3-point range. And it's now the Spurs who are shooting 29% from the field. Nice feed inside. Hunter. Marion, the offensive board. Nash inside.
You got to run right back at him here. You have a 3-on-2.
Barry inside.
Oh, he passed off. There was a layup.
Foul as Ori goes to the basket. Steve Nash very upset. He thought that Duncan pushed him down the other end. That would have been a second foul.
Now, just keep an eye at the Phoenix end. There's your lob, and this is Hunter out racing Duncan to the opposite end of the floor. Now, on this last fast break, you know, let's face it, yeah, Brent Barry has got to be a little unselfish. All right, he's got to take it to the hole. Now, right here, this is Nash. He's been playing by himself inside that foul line area.
Phoenix on an 8-0 run to take a 2-point lead. A reminder tonight, Grey's Anatomy is a shocking revelation in the last 5 minutes. You don't want to miss the heart-stopping season finale of Grey's Anatomy tonight at 10, 9 Central, only on ABC. You know, UB, all season long, people said, yes, the Suns are great in the regular season, but you can't win that way, that style in the playoffs. But look at those numbers.
Well, right here, how about the +6? And then also the shooting percentage. The field goal at three-point shooting at 44% is staggering. They have 5 guys who are averaging over 40%. Fast break points are up because it's natural. Why? Because Nash is having such an incredible playoff after round 1 and round 2. And you can see already in this game, even though the Suns are shooting 30%, he is pushing and pushing, and the game is being played foul line down. I like it if I'm coaching Phoenix. Right now, I'm a little concerned with San Antonio. The ball's not going in the basket.
Ginobili can't get that deal in the basket, but Nazir Muhammad keeps it alive. Nazir Muhammad, a big offensive rebound. Beno Udrich has come in for San Antonio, and Leandro Barbosa comes in to give Steve Nash his first rest. Suns starters have been putting up some big minutes. Marion comes up short. Here comes Ginobili.
And that was only Marion's second shot attempt. They do not run any plays for Marion. He gets everything in transition and then off when the plays break down.
Udrich, the rookie, to Ori. The playoff veteran, that's for sure. Ori gets inside and gets the roll.
Now that was pretty. He extended on that jump hook. Marion was right up on top. Marion at his side is an excellent jumper, quick jumper with the long arm.
Jackson, nice little floater. Jackson, a big plus. Starting the game again. He's got 6.
Well, let's face it, that was one of the greatest acquisitions for this franchise, picking up Jimmy Jackson. And why? Because during his career, he averaged over 15 points a game. He's been in a lot of playoffs, so you have a veteran stepping in for the injured Joe Johnson.
Shot clock down to 7. Ginobili draws the foul and 1. Ginobili, who's just second to Stoudemire in free throws in these postseason, will take his first this afternoon.
Once again, a second shot attempt, and it's down inside. Now, anytime that the Spurs are taking the dribble below the dotted line in the paint, they're getting to the rim and they're getting the easy score. Now, if I'm Phoenix, I know I'm getting hurt early on second shot attempts, so we have to clean this up.
You saw those numbers for Ginobili. You'd be not only scoring over 21 a game, but the high shooting percentage. He's an excellent rebounder, and he's made some beautiful passes as well, averaging over 4 assists a game.
Well, listen, he's 6'5", he plays with his heart, and he's a great teammate. You'll love him because he's relentless for the entire time that he's on the court.
Barry trying to guard Jackson, and Jackson can't get it. Ori. And a loose ball foul. And it's going to go against Phoenix.
Yeah, I like the strategy here. Phoenix is saying no way will Brent Barry stay with Jimmy Jackson out on the perimeter. Jimmy Jackson, a strong dribbler, taking it to the hole.
Let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
Well, guys, Sean Marion, that injured wrist before the game, he was in the locker room with a heating pad. Look at the size of that thing on the right wrist. I mean, just really babying it. Now, he's not wearing a brace on the wrist in games. He took it off for the first time on Friday. He says he wants to leave it off so he doesn't even think about it, doesn't even think that he's injured. But he did confess, Mike and Hubie, whenever he takes a hit to that wrist, it truly hurts.
It was earlier in the postseason that Marion went down on the ground pretty hard to break his fall, injured the wrist. Those numbers again. It's scary, some of the numbers some of these Phoenix Suns put up offensively.
Now, when you look at his numbers and realize that he is an afterthought, you know, in set plays. very few go to his position. He gets it all by hustle, by physical effort on the offensive glass, and then taking the ball strong to the basket. You love it. 20-10 without being a main focus in your offensive set.
Well, after that run by Phoenix, San Antonio comes right back to regain a 5-point lead as we come up on a minute remaining. Marion lost it.
Well, you have an advantage here now. There it is.
Barry wide open for three. And Brent Barry knocks it down. A 12-2 run by the Spurs, and they're up 8.
See, the Spurs understand mismatches. Spurs understand when they have advantages. They will move the ball, and that ball will get to that wide open player.
We're loaded with very heady international point guards. That includes Beno Udrih, the impressive rookie from Slovenia. And there's Barbosa, the Brazilian, knocking it down.
Now, Barbosa, let's face it, he's a young talent. He's harnessed his game. Steve Nash has a great influence on this young player, and this guy's going to be terrific for the future.
Robert Horry from downtown. Robert Horry playing in his 13th year.